said I got to say something, baby, hand me the mic. I said I got to say something, better hand me the mic. Somebody hand me a mic, cause I got to say something, so just hand me a mic. When I need to say something, better hand me the mic. I said I got to say something, better hand me the mic.
So,
Bosh.
welcome to people like us. Do you watch Tom Skinner?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah.
I
rate him. Yeah.
I've just recently found out about him. Yeah. Right. Well, where do we go with this here? Like, what? Entrepreneurs, car dealers, I use property moguls. He's only 20, right?
Yeah, I've literally just turned 21.
Literally turned 21. You 20.
Yeah.
So you're making big noise across social media and in business. Most 20-year-olds are smashing vapes and claiming gender neutrality. Chris and Ben bring a refreshing wave of humour and innovative hustle, I'd say.
Yeah.
So, welcome to
That's
people like us.
That's good intro, that.
That's a
Yeah,
compliment,
definitely.
I
Yeah.
wrote that, mate. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was that in the smack then?
That was in the SmackDown last night, yeah. Literally. Listen, I've got air fresheners. It's not that bad, do you know what I mean? I've got some plugins. Do you know what I mean?
Fair play.
But I literally don't have, what they're called, light shades and that.
Light shades.
No. You don't need them, do you?
You don't need
Yeah.
them.
You know what I mean? So, do you know what? That stuff we were just touching on, all that stuff about social media, cancel culture, all that is some meaty stuff I do want to talk about.
Yeah, of course.
But I want to do probably what everyone's done to you so far and do a little bit of like, this is your life sort of thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, right, you're both from Darlow, right?
Yeah.
Big D town.
So, now you are what you would call successful car dealers, I would say.
Yeah.
You sell cars, you make money, you make a living off it. It's your full-time job, right?
Yeah.
So, where did that come from then? How were you like the Bangladeshi lads at school selling the phones?
No, far from
no,
it.
no.
To be fair, we were far from it, and like, so in school anyway. So talking on behalf of myself, like I was sort of pushed down with my parents wanting to be an accountant, because they're not really smart themselves, and my mum's fairly minimum wage job, same with my dad. So obviously, we were both in set one, and they were like, I think they just latched onto the idea of me being an accountant. So pretty much the majority of the way through until like year 9, 10, that's when I thought I was going to be an accountant. But like wheeling and dealing in school, selling sweets and stuff was not us at all.
Not. I just came from like a thing on the side, to be fair. Like it was during college, started it, and then realised you could make decent money out of it. And then a lot of things have stemmed from it, like our views on society, values and everything. And then it's just gradual come to this point, I guess. But yeah, it just started as a thing on the side.
That's a very streamlined story. I'm even lost in how the story went.
But no, it just grew from a side hustle, and then learning that we can turn it into a full-time business, and then obviously the social media stemmed off that and everything else.
So you just didn't have any like, I don't know, like mentoring, buying and selling out like that?
So from myself, again, it's funny how, because me and Chris have always been in the same best friendship group, but like the way in which it sort of came together, because initially it was separate. Obviously I was down the property side of things, Chris was down the cars, and in about, was it 6 months, so from January to May 2021, I think that's when it was separate. You started cars, I started property, and it came together in May, and then it just sort of blossomed from there, really.
You just knew each other though?
Yeah, we knew each other the whole time.
So you were basically doing your separate hustles like respectively?
Yeah.
But not joined.
Yeah.
What was the property stuff like?
So the property was called Lease Options, and it was, funnily enough, we only stopped that 8 months ago, something like that, solely because the way I saw it was, you know what, we can actually, cars is just an untapped potential that no one's really doing it. Everyone's like sort of NPCs in the motor trader business from what we can see.
What's an NPC?
Just like absolute dweeb.
You know the people in GTA when they'll be like,
like
just driving
sort
down
of like,
and saying
Skyrim.
shit.
Skyrim's a perfect description for that. Just
yeah.
muttering words that don't even. Yeah. So, but yeah, we were doing that up until like 8 months ago, as I say. Scaled it to almost 20 properties, and it's literally just basically when a landlord can't sell their property, or a homeowner for whatever reason, whether they're in negative equity or something, but they don't necessarily need the cash, they just need rid of the property because it's a nuisance, it's a headache. We'd cover their mortgage payments or give them a set figure, which would usually cover the mortgage payments, and we'd rent it out on top of that to someone else and make a split in between. So let's say typical example would be we'd give £250 per month to the landlord. We wouldn't exchange like contracts for the property. We'd have an exclusive option to buy it in, let's say, 5 years, 10 years. Some of them were. And yeah, we'd rent it out for like £500, make £250 profit.
No way. Where did you come up with that idea?
Yeah, it's funny. So as I say, when I was about 15, that's when from an accountant, I started looking into property side of things, because it didn't really make any sense, because I was observing like accountancy as a career path. I was like, around here they're on like 30 grand a year. It doesn't make any sense if they're supposed to be the high echelons of society.
Yeah.
Why they're on 30 grand a year? So I stumbled across property. It was actually Chris Caron, and he's an American like mentor sort of thing, and that sort of got me down the rabbit hole. And then I came across the lease options again. Have no idea how I stumbled across it, but it was literally just a video on YouTube explaining what one is. And I dug deeper and deeper, and yeah, discovered that. And they're notoriously very difficult to find, but I had no money at the time, so I had to make that work because it's basically a low money down strategy, meaning you can exchange contracts and the only exchange minimum is £1. So you can put down £1,000 if you want to, if the seller needs money to move on themselves or they've got like mortgage arrears, whatever, you can pay that off, but you can put down £1 and it'll activate the contract.
Never. That is proper, like, innovative, if that's the word.
Yeah.
Like, you obviously...
I didn't come up with it, obviously. But,
No, but you had some balls to do it, though, like, at that age.
18,
Like, yeah, man. Like, there's not many 18-year-olds doing that, is there? Like...
Well, when you're looking on the internet, like, there's very minimal people speaking about it, but everyone's at least 40 talking about it, at least.
Yeah. Well, you know, to be fair, look, I don't know much about house markets and stuff like that, but now you say it, like, yeah, I guess that's probably going to happen... often. Well, I say it often, but yeah.
Just a matter of finding the sellers.
How do you find them then?
So there were so many different strategies that I utilised. So one of them, for example, the easiest way was going on Rightmove, sorting by, I say easiest, it takes time obviously, but sorting by, type in Darlo, sort by oldest listed, and you can see who's sticking to the market and can't sell. And then you try and, in whatever way you can, get in touch with that seller. So whether that's going knocking on the door and seeing if someone's home, it might be empty, tracking it on land registry, which is like £3 for the deeds. It'll show you where the owner lives. Sending them a handwritten letter, or sending them like a business formal written out letter. However, I always found the handwritten letters work because it's like not spam, and you put it in a bright coloured envelope and they're going to open it.
So you literally did this at times. You'd see a house that was sat on Rightmove for a long period of time. You're thinking to yourself, right, they're having problems selling this.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry slowing it down just to make sure I understand this concept. And then what you would do is through one of different methods, either the land registry or whatever, you would find the owner of the house, write a letter yourself. I assume you typed it up.
No, handwritten.
Never. And what would the letter say?
So I can't remember the exact. I'll have it on a file somewhere because I've documented everything. But it's basically like I've noticed that you like the property's been stuck on the market for quite some time. I'm just curious if you'd be open for a conversation, just because I would be willing to purchase the property. But I'd never mentioned what I was looking to do, because immediately if you've just got some random letter that I would like to do a lease option. No one's heard of a lease option. Like for example, like no one's heard of a lease option. I don't know.
I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, exactly that. So when you approach them, and that's what a lot of people are getting wrong, hence why they're struggling to find them. They're like, oh, this is a lease option. And then as soon as you mention that word, this is a scam. So I just explain exactly what I'd be looking to do. But that'd be only when I'm on a phone call with them. So initially I'd be just like, you're still interested in looking to sell your property? And obviously they are, because they can't sell it.
But you weren't actually buying the property, were you? No.
So I'd be like, I've been interested to purchase the property, but what I'd do is like, I'd break it down into like a procedure. And this is what got my mind spinning, like 18 of systems of procedures of like, right, okay, what I'll do, I'll send them a letter, I'll get them interested, they'll give me a call, and then I'll give them a fact find call. Just so basically, it's just like a general conversation of like, oh, I've been looking at the property for quite some time. Out of interest, why is it not sticking? Why is it not selling? Like, I'm really interested in the property.
Did it add to knowledge?
I really like the look of the property, and that's when they're going. Some of them obviously very reserved and like, no, you have to speak to the agents. But a lot of the times, you would just get people like, yeah, you know what? I had some nightmare tenants in there. I am a landlord. I've had a few, but I've sold a few off. But this one won't sell. It's stuck, and I don't know what to do with it. And then immediately I'd be like, right, okay, that's going to work. So then I'd follow up in a couple of days' time and then just propose a solution to them.
Tactics, brother. Tactics.
Yeah.
Mate, I love that. Like, that's, yeah, I'm taken aback a bit. God, mate, when I was 18, like, Jesus Christ, I was sat in my bedroom wanking. That's the most productive thing.
I was doing that as well, don't worry.
Right, yeah. But I mean,
in between.
Like, I think that's helpful. Will you have them?
No, that's crazy. At your age, should be going ahead with that, mate. Like,
imagine that.
play,
just literally, like, you watch a little bit on YouTube and you've just thought, I'm doing this.
No
well,
business mindset.
it wasn't a little bit of YouTube. I was studying all the time. Like I was just constantly consuming. And that's what I've done, like, even since transitioning. Anything that I pursue, anything we pursue, everything's deep dive studying all the time. That's what I do in my free time. So.
Never, Trevor. So, all right, that was the property stuff. Whilst this was going on,
Yeah.
I know you were working at McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
And at a college.
Yeah.
and you started flipping cars.
Yeah. So at the time, it was a very basic thing, just like on the side, but just started realising you can make money from this. And then I went full time with Amazon on the side. But obviously with cars, it wasn't as smooth as property. It wasn't like fucking, to say the least. But we tried like, literally, because as I say, like we've just always knew that like, learn from success. So I'd speak to people that had like franchise dealerships, individual ones, but were very successful, and I'd just follow from their knowledge that they were saying. But for some reason, it wasn't transpiring and it wasn't working for me. So I'd try selling like certain types of cars in certain prices, and just nothing would work until we reached dingers, which were under £1,500, and then it was like straight away that works.
Because basically how it worked when we first formed, because I was still heavily into property, as I said, till 8 months ago. So I didn't want to exert any time taken away from property to do cars. I just thought if we come together, fuck it, we're both scaling both businesses at the same time. That's how I saw it, and so did Chris. So like, you know what, we'll take each side of the business separate. You do cars, I do property. So never to belittle Chris at all, but like there was a lot of mistakes made, because like the thing is with cars, a lot of it's family runs in the family. So a lot of people that get in the car business, it's like the dad's probably done it, or the granddad.
Yes, I know people like that.
Yeah, it's very generational. So Chris was coming in with fresh eyes and didn't have a fucking clue. So a lot of mistakes were made. We were selling the wrong cars. But it didn't help that I was focused on property either, because it wasn't like we were both trying to think at the same time. So a lot of issues were happening. And then I was just like, fuck it, why can't you just try back? Because you can remember when you always used to tell me, nah. I was like, get the cheaper stuff, sell the cheaper stuff.
Yeah.
Try find the cheapest. Like, you can't buy cars under £1,000. You can't buy it. You used to say that religiously all the time to me.
What was the feel like that you'll never sell them? Or they're just shite?
Just that they were shite. I don't know why I had this mental block. The fact that like if I'm buying a car for 500, which is everyone, like so many people say it to me, oh well, if I'm buying a car for like 500 quid, it's going to be shit. But then now it's like, mate, I bought a car yesterday all the way from Manchester for like 380 quid, but I'd never do that back then. But it's just a mental shit.
And yeah, the first one he actually bought, it profited like pretty sweet in the first week.
It was like a Yaris, and it made like 400 quid within like a few days.
So I was like, right,
just like that,
straight away found it. I was like, dingers is the way, and I just knew it was dingers is the way. So like the more and more we got into it, I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna pull away from the property side of things. We sold them all off because they hold quite a bit of value, because it's just a contract, so they're very, very flexible, and investors eat them up all the time. So sold them off, and obviously that's where we are today with cars.
When you sold the property things off, what were you selling? So you didn't own the property.
Basically, you're selling the contract with it. So so the way it works with lease options is you've got the exclusive right to purchase the property in however many years you've agreed. So it could be 5 years, someone with 10 years, like I say.
Right.
So obviously property prices over 10 years probably increase, most likely. So yeah, like they've got the exclusive. So no matter what, if you've agreed 50 grand in 10 years time, even if the property grows in value to 250 grand in 10 years time, they still have the exclusive right to buy it 50 grand.
Right.
And
I get it.
And to the average person, a contract might seem like, why are you buying a contract for? But so many businesses are sold for like a certain value of a contract anyway. So in this case, it is extremely valuable.
And the thing is, people would listen to that like using no logic and say, you're scamming them. Not at all. These contracts were mutually beneficial. Do you think if someone could sell the house for cash now, they'd accept that contract? Absolutely not. They wouldn't do a lease option.
Yeah.
So it'd only work if they were in desperate need and there was no other option. Like you could either accept a lease option, or you're going to lose it to... Do you know what I mean? You're going to lose it because you're going to keep going in arrears, whatever, you're going to lose to the bank.
Yeah, technically, that was a route for them, the owners, to get revenue from their property instead of it just sat there doing that.
They would never work if it wasn't mutually beneficial. Never.
Well, of course, yeah. Like it can't be just you win and they lose. So they say, "Oh, fuck you." Do you know what I mean? Like, what
I'll just fucking sell it myself.
I know,
you know what I mean? It wouldn't add up at all. So,
well, it's innovative, I think. God knows how you'd come up with that, but yeah, well played. Like, so, do you know what? This word keeps popping up, right? A dinger. Mm-hmm. What's a dinger then?
That was by accident as well, that wasn't it?
Like a charred car used for certain purposes. Right. That's what it comes from. So, we obviously used to listen to a lot of rap, specifically drill. That's where it came from.
Chris used to listen to drill.
Yeah.
Talking about Bad Boy Chiller Crew.
No, it's like Young Dizzin people like that, like down London way.
Yeah.
I remember hearing it in there, but we just used to start calling them like proper shit cars. And I remember the first video that we ever did, like blew up massively.
Yeah, because it was just a shit video saying for whatever like TikTok's been a long journey for us to make like decent videos. If they're not even decent now, but like it's been a long journey. We made some proper gay fucking videos, and one of them was just like, oh, we'll get car terminology and we'll just say, oh, what's a lemon, what's a this, what's a that, what's a steering wheel, and then one of them we just said, oh fuck it, what's a dinger, and then just explained what a dinger is, and it just went bonkers. So we're like, yeah, dingers.
Is it so? This Darlow dingers.
Yeah.
It's like, is that a business or is that just like a hashtag you come up with?
The business is dingers.
Do you know what? I find that like proper brave. Like, basically, you're saying like, oh, he's our products instead of saying like, I don't know, something like really good cheap motors or like you're saying. He's our tax shit cars. Yeah. Like
that's what you advertise. It's all boring anyway. Like it turns my brain off when someone's called my little car company, my lovely car company. That was a slide dig.
There was no that was unnecessary.
No, but I'm just saying in general. I see so many like, oh, my little first car. It's so fucking gay, and it's like
how are you standing out saying shit like that? Do you know what I mean? Like it's typical marketing though. But I the more and more. Because we've only been in business, like obviously since 18, with business, like being amongst business for 3 years. But the more and more, the deeper I get into it, the more and more I realise I'm like, wow, no one seems to be using logic at all. Because you're supposed to observe everyone and do something different to stand out. No one's got a unique selling point. And cars, hence why, as I say, I made the decision that, you know, we'll fuck off the property, sell them off, and do cars because the car market's full of it. I can't differentiate. Yeah. No one stands up. I can't. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's full of it.
That what you just said there, I get it. Actually, like it's like a shock factor, really. Like because no one's really got the balls to come out and call themselves dingers. I've never heard of. I mean, there might be. You might tell me there is other companies called whatever dingers, but I've never heard of it.
No, I don't think so.
And you're right. Like from my brain, if I was going to be a car dealer, I'd want to stay away from like chalk.
And that's perfect for us though. If our competition's full of it.
So if anything, it makes you stand out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Darlow dingers.
It's as well as all the branding as well. It's pink. It just stands out.
Pink
bright.
and white like Barbie. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
It got the font similar to that as well. So yeah.
So that's what a dinger is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was just going to say before I move on, have you got a charger anywhere?
Have we got chargers, Southpaw?
Yeah,
iPhone.
I've got a wireless charger. Yeah.
Yeah, nice one.
What's Southpaw, by the way? What's?
I'm left-handed, man.
Oh, is that what it is?
It doesn't let
I thought it was like
him,
boxing or something.
No.
No, I'm not a boxer. He always says, "Oh, he's left-handed,ed," but he doesn't let it affect him.
No, he doesn't. You wouldn't be able to tell. He lives a normal life. You know.
I think it was like my third day I'd started at Dash, and like he always just calls a new guy, and then somehow I got Southpaw.
What's Southpaw?
And I just thought that's quite a cool name. I'm not a fighter at all.
It's one of them.
Year and a half later.
You touched on this a minute ago, lads, right? With the cheap cars, right? Then there is obviously some, like, if the word, like a methodology. There's some reason you keep these cars in this certain price bracket.
Yeah.
I assume you learnt that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, like when we first started, like on that side of things, when I saw, I was just like, hang on, this everyone in the car market doesn't want to sell a dinger. They just feel like they don't want the headache. So I think that's where you did get that belief from. I think it was instilled from somewhere. And whenever you speak to any trader, because again, they're all NPCs, so they'd advise the Danes don't sell this price bracket, they're a headache. Every time we've sold, like obviously you're gonna have problems, but it's been the smoothest, like most efficient process of selling them. That's what we found. And
do you know? Again, from a divvy's perspective, looking in, what you've done, I would say in every which way it's wrong. Because like if you said, "Oh, this is what we're gonna do," I'd be like, "Lads, this is not the right idea."
Yeah.
You're proof that it actually was. I just think, okay, first things first. You're buying cars off rat bastards. First things first.
100%.
Most of the time.
Bradford.
Yeah. We'll touch on that in a minute. People who buy the cars off you, because you're only sort of doubling your money on them and stuff like that.
Smackheads.
More rat bastards. Yeah. Your product is going to be shot to bits. There's things wrong with it.
Yeah.
That's why you got it cheap. Do you know what I mean? Head gaskets going, shit like this. For me, looking at it from the outset, everything points to no.
Yeah.
But yous have made it work.
Yeah. Well, that's just what we pride ourselves on, because if at the end of the day, if you can get a car that lasts 6 months or maybe even a year sometimes, and you're only paying like £800 a grand, that's fucking quality.
And if you've got a problem with it breaking after then, go fucking buy a 20 grand car then. You can't. So there you go. You're going to have to buy one of these. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The point, that's the only reason why people have to buy them, because they need to buy them. Like, everyone needs a dinger at some point.
Yeah.
So whether you're a first time driver and your parents are buying them because you don't want to crash the shit out of a brand new finance car, perfect for them. Or if you've just crashed your car and you need just a car to get around for a couple of months, again, perfect. Or if you've only got that money available to buy that type of car, the perfect again. So they're all perfect. Every situation that you play it to, everyone needs a dinger. Everyone needs a dinger. You need a dinger.
I've had dingers like.
Yeah.
Best cars to drive.
I love driving them,
That's all we're gonna do. Honestly, and this, I'm saying it here now, we are generally gonna buy a Lambo and put an engine in a dinger at some point. That is happening. Because when we get to that price bracket,
Say that again?
When we get to the price bracket and the wealth of buying a Lambo, we're putting an engine in a dinger because we're not driving a Lambo.
You just
They're
crash
gay.
the Lambo
They
after.
are gay.
Right.
And bomb the Lambo. Say
Yeah,
we're gonna bomb the
bomb
Lambo and video it.
They are gay Lambos. Like.
Yeah, they are gay because
Yeah.
everyone's. The thing is as well, everyone's chasing the problem. I've got a big hate towards the finance sort of side, like the price range of everyone for whatever reason, and they're only buying it not because of reliability. It's because they don't want people to take the piss out of them driving a dinger, and that's massively the insecurities, isn't it? 100% buying like an A3 or whatever. No offense, A3s they look nice, but that's what people our age are buying them because of the insecurities.
Yeah,
Nothing to do with the
I bet
cars.
most people, probably more so younger people, buy cars because they don't want to.
Of course, 100%.
Yeah, they don't want to be seen in a Cinquecento
Yeah.
or something like
I'll
that.
whip a micro out all the time. Get some nanny in there. Get
Listen, my first car was a
anything.
micro. I did some damage, lads, in that micro. I'm telling you.
Best card.
Do you know
That's
what I mean?
If someone comes up to me saying I want a micro, like my respect goes straight up because it's
Yeah.
like, what a bio.
Honestly, if you drive a ding, you're a G.
Yeah,
Like, if you
you
drive
are,
a
yeah.
finance one, no, you're cool.
I had a micro. I
Is it the
smoked
K11, like the more boxier one?
M-Reg 96.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah,
M583 WWB.
Beautiful.
Still remember my first
Yeah,
reg.
yeah.
I wonder if he's still alive. You can check that online, can't you?
We'll buy it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out. But yeah, it was my first car, and I smoked ganja then, big weed head, and
Yeah, but what was that? So when did you buy that then? So how old was that when you bought it?
I didn't buy it. Mum gave me it.
How old was it?
17. I was 17-year-old.
So,
How old was the
was
car?
it, was it a new car? Because it doesn't
you
count
know
if it was a
what?
new car at the time.
Thinking about it then, it was only about 5 or 6 year old. Yeah, so it wasn't a dinger.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, I mean, I made it a dinger. You can imagine.
It's true. To be fair though, it is a micro at the end of the day, so I think that's kind of let off, to be honest. And cars would have been a lot cheaper back then anyway than fucking now.
Yeah, it was revolutionary. It was 16 valve, 1 litre engine.
Yeah,
Rapid, man.
yeah.
You used to scream, but the windows, I broke the windows. So like, and you can imagine being a weed head where the windows don't go down.
Oh, fucking
so we were
hell.
driving about on a night, just you couldn't see out the window, you know,
That's
for
brave,
hot
that
box.
is brave.
I can remember back then getting pulled over. Police seemed to be more like relaxed then.
Well,
So I can remember getting pulled over in the
What,
middle of the
stoned?
night, stoned as bats, right? And the coppers would pull us over, and me and my mate, oh, never. You know, like we've just literally got joints in the ashtray in the car. The door had opened. This woof of weed smoke had come out. The copper would go, fucking hell, lads, like this. And he'd just take it off us.
Mental,
He'd
that.
get us out. He'd take the weed, and I
Mate,
mean,
you'd be getting banned, 5-year prison sentence,
you'd
all
be-
kind of shit like that now.
Yeah, but I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, micros.
No,
Yeah,
I like the story though.
fair enough.
It's worth it.
So have you got any you know, like when you're buying like cars and stuff, have you got any like rules and principles that you stick
It's
to?
very basic. So obviously the MOT is probably the main point. If the MOT's fucked, stuff like that, like stay away from it. There's certain things to look out for. On
So you
the
won't buy a
MOT
car that's
shit.
got no MOT?
Sorry,
You won't buy
It's
it?
Oh, still
circumstantial,
that, yeah.
circumstantial, but like
can get
mainly
some good MOTs as well. To be fair,
Yeah?
yeah. It's getting hard now, but it's doable still.
Yeah. What do you
Yeah.
mean the cheap ones?
Over the phone.
very trustworthy.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We all know that guy.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah. I assume, look, I mean, it's nothing to do. I won't ask you that on here.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
That's a story for a different day. But yeah, it's good to have a good mechanic to take care of your MOTs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
Always
to
need
make
one.
sure the car is safe and fit for the road.
Of course.
You know. What's the strangest thing you found in a car? You
Oh,
must have
mate,
found some shit, right?
I think I've seen a dildo before.
No way.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe you've seen the dildo.
I
I,
swear-
didn't see the dildo.
I swear- if it wasn't them dildos, it's when fucking lasses go on like what's it called? It's not a stag do, a hen do, and they've got them party things that they're always shaped like dicks.
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. I've seen them had like fucking
Pass as a dildo.
yeah, that maybe, but bolognese.
There's some grim cars though. Some of them
Yeah,
going,
yeah.
what have you been doing in there?
I mean, by the very nature of your product, you're going to come across some absolute...
You don't need to live like an animal, though. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No.
just if you've got no money, you can still have your house clean.
Been a
Like,
few
fuck me,
bags.
sort
Been a few
yourself
bags
out.
before I've seen.
Have you?
Yeah,
Not full, but like obviously, yeah.
Damn shame.
Yeah.
No, the clippy bags everywhere, ain't there? You know, you see them on the floor. You know, you walk down the street, there's clippy bags
I was in
everywhere.
Leeds train station and it was like right there. It was like in the middle. Getting on it.
Have you ever bought? Surely you must have come across it. Have you ever bought like a stolen car, or like nearly bought a stolen car?
Maybe, but you just don't know.
You just don't know.
No, because like you can tell on HBIs, but like even still you don't know. But like buying them for Bradford a lot of them are proper dodgy. You get them all over. I remember I was speaking to a lad the other day. He bought like an RS3, so like 40 grand cars, but he got it like really cheap. He got it from core parts, or like a few panels were fucked. What he did, he just bought a charred car for like 3 grand and then just put the panels on. But what a lot of people do now is they'll obviously buy a car and they'll just scratch the VIN off, get like a donor car for like scrap value and put the VIN of that car on that one, so it's not charred anymore. But you don't really know if a car's charred, to be honest.
No, like a good idea. Not that I'm saying anybody should do this,
Yeah.
but if you got the chance to like buy a stolen car and you were game, right, you could like you've been doing, you could break it, right?
Yeah,
because not
easily.
everything's got the
Easily,
the VIN number's only on like the chassis of the car, right?
Yeah.
So like if you're taking the engine out, the alternator out, there's no evidence of what car it came from.
No, definitely not.
Huh. Might be a side a side arm of the business that, you
Fuck
know.
thing is, we've got.
I wouldn't do it intentionally, but the only way that you can properly tell, to be fair, is obviously you've got the chassis of the car, and then you've got the VIN number on the logbook, and then obviously compare the two, and then if they're different numbers, it's a telltale sign.
So apart from the MOT, is there any other principles that you set? Apart from, I mean, price is one.
Yeah,
right?
price. So we need to make money on the car and sell anything under 1,500 quid. Like, it has to be under 1,500 quid.
Why does it have to be?
'Cause,
why not 1,700 quid?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this is something that like we'd argue for ages, but
Yeah.
I was so adamant because he was fucking. It's like an emotional base of like, oh, but we want to sell vans, but we want to sell this, we want to sell that, and like, yeah, let's do that. And I was like, no, we're selling dingers and we're selling at 1,500 quid. No, like, because if you sell at 1,500 quid, it sticks in people's head. But and it's psychology as well, because although it may not seem it like to people who have a bit more money or like just a working class, but 1,500 quid is like I'd prefer to sell it at $1,000, but we can't because like we'd have to sell it like buy dirt cheap and obviously buying a lot more dodgy cars at that point. But 1,500 quid's a sweet spot because if you say $2,000, just for even saying it feels a lot heavier than 1,500 quid.
Do you know what it is? I just thought as you were saying it there, right? You think most people, when they get paid at the end of the month, their wage is probably somewhere between 1,400 quid and $2,000.
Yep.
Like in selling your cars at that 1,500 quid, worst case, because you've just said the nature of the people like who buy your cars a lot of the time is people who need our car quick.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And well, you know, that's keeping it at that price bracket, like anyone can just spend their month's wage and get the car they need.
Yeah.
But if it's $2,500, not many people get paid $2,500.
Exactly that. There's a threshold where just like it's like when, for example, this is the argument I try to use the analogy. I'm like, why the fuck is it like businesses calling it 99p versus a pound? There's a weight difference where someone who came
true.
up with that, it feels heavier when you say like versus the other one.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. 1,500 quid to $2,000. It is a steep jump, like in just the basic principle of it.
We sell like packages where we work, and we'll price things at something 25. You know, like we always keep the last numbers small.
Yeah.
So like if we sell, say, a website for 2,000 quid, but if we sell it's only 19.25, you think, oh, it's like loads less, which is not loads
Yeah,
less.
it's just not at all. Yeah.
No, it is a bit of psychology in it in the price.
Yeah, it's everything to do with psychology.
So the 1,500 quid marker, yous came up with that.
Yeah.
Have just, that's it, you're sticking to it.
Yeah.
And you have your own concept, your own reasoning for it. I suppose there isn't any like data really, like actual real data. It's just your own data.
Our own experience data, really. What we've experienced from what we've been selling. Like, and yeah, just much. To be fair, it was. When we first started, the idea was like dingers under $1,000. That was what the sweet spot would have been, and you can easily do it. But with us, because we want to buy from auction as well, with like because you more scale with auction because you can buy lumps at a time, and they're literally delivered as well. So it's economies of scale. And like if the more we can buy there, like at least if we sell at 1,500 quid, like that gives a margin there as well to buy even more. Like the stock amount is much higher. So
are you buying your cars mainly from auctions now?
Anywhere, to be fair.
anywhere
people.
really.
No,
we do buy from people as well, yeah.
What would you say the ratio is, like percentage wise, like people to what's that thing called? Auction.
I'd probably say a third, to be fair. So, like, we buy a lot through trade. A lot of them that come through part exchanges that they don't want to sell themselves. Facebook Marketplace and Gumtree, so private sellers. And then also going to auction.
So how are you getting, obviously the auction's easy enough, you just go to it sort of thing.
Yeah.
People, easy enough, Facebook Marketplace. But how are you hearing about part X's from dealers and stuff?
To be fair, social media's been a massive benefit. The amount of like valuable relationships that we've gained from just TikTok alone.
Do people come to you?
Swear down, just message us.
And say, "Do you like this?"
Well, at the time, like a lot of people won't see the value in that sort of message. They just say, "I've got this," but then I'll WhatsApp them. They'll say, "Well, I've got this car," and then I'll say, "Do you get cars often?" Stuff like that, and then I might buy the first one, and then it'll spiral into so much more as well.
Right.
Just opening the gate to as many networks as possible, because at the end of the day, the way we see it, if we've got loads of trade, like even recovery people, they're mint as well. But to have people around you that you like are always getting cars and cheap cars that are ideal for us and they can't be our selling, the more and more we've got of them, we've just got a constant flow of cars coming in.
Right.
So
now you're networked up.
Yeah,
Oh,
and there's
it can
benefits of buying
constantly grow though. It can constantly grow always.
benefits of buying from everywhere. So if you buy through auction, the more that you get, the better account that you're going to get, the less types of fees. But then also if you buy through trade, like they'll get cars even cheaper for you. They'll do this for you. They'll do that for you. So there's benefits of buying through everywhere.
Huh. Never.
Swear down.
And this is you've created this network just yourselves, basically, like through the social media was a big part in it because you started making noise.
Because to be honest, like we still even get it now. Like obviously the motor trade, it's few and far between youngsters in there, and obviously with us being 20 and 21, you just get loads of knobheads that are much older that just take you for granted. They're just. What's the word? They turn the nose up at you, sort of thing. So even still, like the social media definitely helped with that, because some of them are then switched on enough to think, oh, actually, yeah, you know what? These are serious about it. Yeah, they're not joking. But then you do, when we first started and didn't have a social media platform, you walk into a garage, they just take the piss. They'd be like, we'd know what something would cost in the garage, and just fucking add like another 300 quid just for the crack. Just like, and it's short-sightedness, because the amount of business that we could provide them is ridiculous. But
yeah, I was going to say that, like, yous two lads, like, because yous are young, you know what I mean, and yous are rocking up to I can imagine these stuck up their ass proper car dealers have been in business years or what, and they're looking at these two kids and they're thinking, fuck you, but like what it is actually is no, fuck them.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because like they're dusty. They're the people that are going to be outdated.
Yeah,
they're not banging social media. Like some of these car garages in Darlow, you know, I'm not going to name them, but you drive around Wester Road and places like that. You see these little second-hand car garages. I don't see nothing on social media.
Yeah.
I don't see them doing anything. Yeah, might have a website, a dog shit website, but they're behind the times. Do you know what I mean? Like they're behind the times.
But then they are also spackers as well, because they think, oh, you know what, social medias, they might see, oh, you know what, it might be valuable, but then the type of content that they're putting on, they might as well just be spackers and not on it.
yeah,
in the
there's
first place.
picture of a car like for sale, £300 discount, like just stupid. We observe them, and even the ones that are trying to get out there more, we're just like, what the fuck is that? What was the point in posting that?
Yeah, literally. It's like, I mean, it's the same with a lot of things in the world. Like the older generation, like, yeah, they might have the credentials, but it's the young up and coming kids that have all the innovation,
they
the
think they're
ideas.
entitled to an opinion for some reason as well. And even though they're the spacker, we'd never say anything bad about them though.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah.
Gays, right?
Yeah, they are gays.
So who's we don't mean gay as in homosexual, they're just gay.
They are just faggots, yeah.
The difference between being gay and a faggot.
Exactly.
And these are gay.
You know the
faggots.
The fixing of the cars.
Yeah.
Surely you must do some fixing.
Nah, we're terrible. We're trying to learn, but
No, say that again, because we're not trying to learn.
No, hang on. I've seen you breaking a car.
Yeah.
Like,
this
you
is,
must
this
know
is, This
something.
was a conversation on Sunday we had. We were like,
yeah.
you know what, fuck it. And there's a reason why.
Right.
But yeah, we are going to start looking into it. But you don't need to.
Yeah.
All disclaimer, full disclaimer, you don't need to know.
for efficiency on selling
Up
cars.
until this point, we don't know.
For efficiency selling cars, you might be like, you might have to sacrifice buying cars a bit more expensive, just the fact that they're fully ready. But like selling it,
I disagree.
What
The
do you
amount of cheap shit that we bought up until this point, not knowing anything.
No, but
you
I'm
don't need to.
just saying from the basic principle, if something's fucked, you're going to buy it a lot cheaper than something that's not fucked.
But also the way I see it, this is where sometimes we do disagree, where it's not even worth the headache. At this price point, there's enough stock out there to sell dingers en masse, and you've got no headache. You buy it, sell it, buy it, sell it, buy it, sell it. And this is, again, we disagree, but sometimes it does help for content anyway, so that's fine. You don't need to buy cars. Buying cars to do them up is not even an economy anymore. It just
So do you
doesn't
ever...
exist.
So I assume you must have bought cars where something needed doing before you sold it.
Yeah, of course, yeah, but obviously minimal things. So say if it's a brake, if it's a fucking service, something very minimal that just needs to be done. But I wouldn't go out intentionally and buy something with like a fucked engine or something like that.
Do you have like a good connection to a mechanic that does your work, like a set person, or do you just use random garages?
Yeah, it's. I mean, throughout the journey, we've always sort of had one at the time. Like, whenever like, it's always been one. Because otherwise they just bend you over. They're just knobheads. Like they are we were saying this coming down here. The mechanics are the bane of our life.
Yeah,
Are they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Until you find a good one, but before that, like it's unregulated, to be fair. So
Because we know the game, what they're doing.
Like, don't they want to just make money off you and all?
Yeah, but all they're doing as well, because like we'll sell a car to a customer, and mechanics have to make money somehow.
Yeah.
So they'll take when a customer brings it to them what we've sold them, be like, they sold you a death trap here. I wouldn't be driving this home. You're gonna have to. Do you know what I mean? They'll just,
Yeah.
But we know the game because obviously with our network around us, they say, yeah, and we do that the exact same. That's how we make money. Do you know what I mean?
Mechanics kind of like control the world a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're actually one of the
when
world.
like specifically a lass will say, "Oh, my mechanic,
My mechanic's
doing
you
me
never
a favour
fucking
here."
spoke to that
I don't-
mechanic
my
before he went to
mechanic.
this afternoon.
My mechanic's gonna bend me over by fucking a grand repair bill here.
Absolute
And he will.
knobheads.
And he will
Mate,
defend
no, honestly, I wanted to shoot myself. Can you remember that time where it was in Coxo, I was pitching Coxo? This Indian guy, several viewings he came for this car, and he just he kept walking on the pitch, wasn't he? Because he was local or something like that.
Yeah.
So he just kept coming back several days, coming for this one fucking Lexus, and we eventually sold it to him. Even though he was clawing at our nuts to sell it to him, we were like, mate, just take the car. Sold him the car. Comes back the day later because he says he goes to his mechanic saying there's rust under the. There's rust, mate. What?
Fuck you, Abdul.
Yeah,
No chance. You know what I mean? No chance.
fucking knob. Like
But
he generally tried to take it back. He tried to take it back. He parked it on and was like, "You're gonna have to take it, mate, because it's not staying here."
Yeah. I was going to ask you about this. Like, and how would you say it without being like insulting?
Be insulted.
Are you on about if something happens?
No, I'm talking about like the different types of people. Like, surely I'm in the business of selling stuff as well in my real job, and I admit I do see patterns in certain types of
Individuals,
people.
customers.
Yeah, people from certain places. They generally, they don't want to spend much money.
Yeah.
They. Do you find any of that?
You know what it is like with cars? No.
No?
With cars, absolutely not. I mean, there's a recurring theme where like the people, the majority of like sometimes it'd be like obviously lower income classes sometimes, but now it's a broad scale of things because as I say, sometimes it is just a matter of sometimes first time drivers, sometimes someone like yourself, you may have crashed a nice car and then you're stuck with you need to buy a quick
I would
car.
say obviously gender's a massive thing, to be fair though. A man will come in if they're looking for just like a runabout that literally won't care as long as it runs and drives, but like lasses when specifically buying something, it'll be the same with clothes, be the same with this, but for some reason they let their emotions come in, and say if there's just like a scratch, they'll potentially think that it's happened from somewhere else, and even though it can't be the cat, it might be the man buying the car, but they've come with a woman. The woman will then start to like inject in the
difficult. We don't need the beauty with Dingers as well. We don't need to sell the cars sell themselves. Like there's no sales process. Like with all the expensive cars, they need to like rub the customer's bollocks, have several meetings, go out on a mail and stuff like that, try and sell this really high end car. We don't need to do that. If you want to buy the car, buy the car. If you don't. But it is a headache. You do get some people that are coming for an £800 car and they're like, why has it got like a dent there? Don't know, love. Like
That's what you're buying,
yeah,
mate.
exactly.
Yeah, it's an £800 car.
Have you got 15 grand to buy another car? No. Well, are you gonna not drive then? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Or you can buy the car. You approached us, we didn't approach you. Do you know what I mean?
You mentioned you had a pitch.
Is irritating. Yeah. About
it's like-
15 minutes away.
That's like a showroom, right?
Yeah. It's like a unit, and then we've got some space outside. It's literally just down the road. It's in Dalton, just near Darlington.
No way.
So yeah, but it's.
So what do you do? Just line your cars up there and people can come and see them, sort of thing.
Of course, yeah. I'd probably say like, well, it's how it's progressed in cars now. I'd probably say 90 to 95% of sales are done by online. So a lot of people see something on Marketplace, Auto Trade, and then they'll come down and then they'll buy the car then.
So you're just selling on Marketplace and Auto Trade.
Won't really ever get someone that's just coming down.
Again, that's a fucking false economy. Who just rocks up to a dealership anyway and buys a car, just walks in? I don't
Never
know
happened.
anyone.
That's what I mean.
Never.
I'd prefer to have somewhere that's in the middle of nowhere than actually like on High Street, because the types of customers that are doing that and just walking in are mainly
They're
DOSes
a headache.
anyway.
Like we had another pitch in Coxo, and as I say, that Indian guy like just kept walking in. You should get loads of them.
But it's just
want to
by the
waste your
side of the
time.
main road. I don't know what the fuck, like, I don't know what the mindset is by coming in, but they'll just like have a walk, might have the dog with them. Oh,
It's like, mate, I can't be
you know
asked.
what? I didn't even want a car anyway, but I've just come to look at them.
Just come have a look at your cars.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can
some of
imagine.
them you just take the piss like proper, and you just think, nah. So being in the middle of nowhere is ideal because they're only
Yeah.
going to come if they want to buy the car.
But it's not that far from Darlow or also Sound.
No, because you're Darlow lads, right?
Yeah.
Never. So, have you ever had cars that you can't sell? And then what the fuck do you do with that?
So the beauty of this is the fact that they're so cheap that if a car, we normally sell them within 1 to 2 weeks. Say if a car's not there for a month, at worst we'll break even. Maybe a small bit of profit, but break even. But we will very, very rarely lose out on a car because it won't sell. But sometimes they don't, like if you buy like an obscure type of car, but realistically if you're buying a Ford Fiesta, a Corsa or something like that, like there's no reason why it won't sell quickly.
What are the best cars to buy? Like makes, models?
Corsas, Fiestas, Minis, stuff like that, just bread and butter, just very basic.
Which ones are the most problematic, would you say?
Wouldn't really get them because
No.
at the end of the day we just buy cars that are very basic and very simple, so Corsas and Fiestas. But then when you start dealing with bigger cars, more problems sort of
That's the
occur.
beauty of it again, because we're not selling like high-end cars, so just so you know what you're buying anyway, you know what you're getting involved with. So
You know, I wanted to ask you, lads, right? You know, you make these videos, and I'll see a video where you'll go hilarious as a side thing on it. But what the message is we bought this car for 400 quid. We're going to sell this for $1,000. Do you sell it for that? Because you haven't sold it yet.
yeah, no, you seriously do. Yeah, we said we're
Yeah.
not just pucking numbers out our arse.
How,
we do.
but how do you know what you're going to sell it
Do
for?
you just know what to sell
But
for?
it's just
but
previous
that's
information,
also a
isn't
bit
it?
of a tactic because people just comment and say, "Oh, it's only worth when it sells." Like, oh, no
Obviously,
shit.
the odd time it won't be the exact figure, but 90% of the time we know exactly that we've sold a similar car like this before, and most likely it's
This
going
is
to sell
what
it
this
for
is
the
for.
same
This is what
price.
it's going to sell for. But you will get people saying, "Oh," but that just helps the algorithm anyway. So it just triggers people commenting saying, "Yeah, but you haven't sold it."
Spent
Yet.
nothing on it, and it's for sale for £12,495.
You didn't sell that for that.
Not to be fucking. I was just pissing people off. That was all fine. That was a joke.
£2,000.
I love that.
We've spent nothing on it, and it's for sale for
Fucking brilliant.
£12,495.99. Comment below.
Love that comment there. Do you tell
Oh
me?
yeah, do you time my guy?
Love that.
The amount of hate we've got through the whole journey
12
is
likes.
bonkers.
I mean, you do look a bit of a traveller there, to be honest.
I'll
If
take
you
it.
were called John Boy,
Oh mate,
I would
honestly,
believe you.
I get Romanian, Albanian, Nazi, fucking pikey, gypsy, everything under the sun I get.
I want to ask you about that. Like, yous must get some absolute tankins on
Oh,
like,
beautiful people.
yeah.
Some people can't speak a fucking word of English are the best ones.
You know what's beautiful because we in tanking in terms of like comments and that,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
ripping into us.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what's beautiful because we give it straight back.
Yeah.
Too many other businesses are like, "No, I need to stay professional. Don't respond to the haters. Don't do this, mate.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
it." We literally, I remember specifically there was this one cock who would comment every single day on TikTok. So I was like, fuck it, I'm making a video back at him. So I just started ripping into him. I got all pictures from his profile and just ripped into his lass, ripped into him.
No.
And he commented the day he seen it. And funnily enough, 10 minutes before he saw that video, he commented hate again. And then I posted the video and he saw it and he was like, "Oh lads, no, I was only joking. I really like
Sent
you."
us a direct message as well.
He's okay taking it back. Like, really, please don't bring my girlfriend. It's like, fuck off, mate. It's staying up there and it went bonkers as well. the video.
Love that.
Is it-
Yeah,
He learned a
Suck my
valuable
dick.
lesson, didn't he?
He
Because
did.
the thing,
I
as I
love
say, like I take no weight on the words. Say anything about me. Say you shagged my mum. Say anything. I know it's just words. You haven't.
Banter, innit?
Do you know what I mean? It is banter, so I'll give it straight back. If you can't take it, that's your problem. But don't give it out first place. So that's the thing with hate online. People take it too seriously, but then also the people giving it can't take it themselves. So
Yeah, but some of the shit you've come out with sometimes, like you
deserved.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
been
look,
premeditated
you
over a few
you push it a bit sometimes. You know what I mean? Like some of the things you
It's
say.
deserved.
Comment down below if you care.
Yeah, comment down below if you're gay. I mean, that's probably like the Diet Coke
The
version of
most
what you say.
tamest one, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like,
one.
that's
That's
pretty
the
easy.
tamest example I've come across.
Yeah,
That was dead. That was a shit video.
this is gay, innit? I watched this.
Yeah.
This is gear, 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 this is gear. Boys, this is really gear. If you don't want your gear, for the cars instead and actually make money.
You know what the irony is? While you're sat in, what's that, a Cinquecento?
That's a in-between's car, that,
Yeah. That's probably gay, isn't it?
Nah,
You know what I mean?
I get the nanny, that. I get the nanny round here.
Does it?
No, it doesn't. Fuck.
What's the story with the in-betweeners car? Is it? It's not actually their car, right?
Nah, so basically, I was literally... what was I even doing at the time? But I opened up Facebook Marketplace looking for like a Mini Cooper or something by accident.
Yeah.
And that just came up on my screen. I was like, no way. And it's not the same model, but I just on first glance, I thought it was it already. And like avid watcher of in-betweeners, if I say so
Brilliant,
myself.
yeah.
And even I thought it was until I looked at, like, seriously stared at it and actually looked, oh shit, no, it's not even the real one. So it was like 600 quid. So I was like, fuck it, we'll buy it.
So did the person whose car it was, did he purposely make it look like that?
So the person he bought it off made it look like that.
Right.
Because it's like it's a slightly different model of the Fiat.
But it's just
so
a
it made
yellow
it look
old
like that.
Fiat that looks with a red door.
Pretty bang on though. It is pretty like similar. You wouldn't think anything. And every time we drive it, everyone thinks it is.
And you keep it. You're not selling that.
It's car museum.
Not
That's what
sold.
it is. Car museum.
Never getting sold.
Never getting sold.
No,
never
never.
getting sold.
I
Price
suppose-
on everything apart from that.
There's a place in Darlow, isn't there, that have the Only Fools and Horses van outside. Have you seen that garage before?
yeah.
This is it.
It's a bit of an icon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it? Are they tyre place? Is that what it is?
Oh,
Palmer's tyres?
yeah. No, is it?
I don't know, but there is one kicking
I mean,
about,
Definitely
isn't
is,
there?
yeah. We're gonna. That's what we're gonna do. Buy all these stupid cars. I want the fake taxi as well. Someone's definitely got a scrap round here that looks like the fake taxi.
Yeah, it's
I don't know
Jimmy
who it is.
Bull.
Oh, is that who it is?
Yeah,
Absolute
yeah.
legend.
Them
But,
taxis
like,
cost a fortune, don't
do
they?
they?
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy one still. Like, they're unreal.
I mean, you wouldn't have much market up here for it, though, would you? I mean, you'd have to keep it.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be getting kept. Just getting fake taxi.
Get the
on it.
Lambo engine in that. That's what we
Yeah.
want.
Imagine that. Imagine you driving around in a fake taxi. Oh, no. I love
Shut the
it.
fuck up, Paul. I'll come back here and slap your tits.
Which one of you two's the best negotiator?
Don't need to negotiate really, but
You don't negotiate when you're buying cars?
No, well, obviously when it
you know
comes
what
to
it is,
it.
I feel, and this is again, I think it's so NPC and it's a mindset that you need to apply to stuff. I think negotiation to an extent is just pointless. To an extent of what you like, people negotiate to the end of life for like 20 quid, and you're just like, wow, what is the point?
I'll be. There's a car already cheap enough, and then be on for 900. Be like fucking. We take 875 for it or shit
because
like
when
that.
it comes to scaling, efficiency, and just getting shit that's actually important done, why would I spend extra time and headache trying to get a 25 quid saving? I just don't understand it.
But I would have thought in your world of the cars that like you sell.
Oh, definitely.
It really matters.
It does matter, but it depends what metric you're playing it on. Because the way we see it, if we're making 500 quid profit, and we know we're making 500 quid profit, sound. You can make anything that you want on the car. At least we're making 500 quid profit. That's all that matters to us. Because then at the end of the day, the way we're tracking it is like every car we sell, we're making £500 profit. That could buy another dinger anyway. So that's like we've doubled the cars straight away.
Surely, like every car that you go to buy, you are offering under the
Yeah, of
under what they're
course.
saying,
So
right?
if it's single mum as well, that like they'll love it and that. So, but
So even still, you don't need to. You
No,
really
no,
don't need to.
you
It's
don't
like,
need to.
I think that's just out of habit because like if something's priced that it is, no one wants to buy it for what it's for.
Yeah. I
But
was
you
gonna
really
ask
don't
you,
need to negotiate.
like, who's
So
the best
I'm a
people?
shit negotiator.
Shit negotiator.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
I bet
I'm just
you're
not
not
interested.
I bet you would.
I'd be sick at. Well, no, obviously with lease options, my sales sort of ability is
Yeah.
high, but in terms of negotiation, it's just pointless.
It was like, I don't want to use the word to like blag, but like, when someone's selling the car, who's the best people like that you can like rip off? That you can
Single
like,
mums.
Is it?
Yeah,
And old people.
obviously Asians are a bit harder. Like,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
probably the hardest.
That's
a
what
bit
I'm-
hard.
A
Fuck
bit
me, it's
hard.
night and day.
Yeah,
isn't it?
night and day.
You want an Ethel, don't you?
What's an Ethel?
Like an 8-year-old nana.
But they're good to be fair, yeah. Because especially like I mean they'll not have the car on very cheap anyway because they won't know the value. Especially you just say oh well this is fucked, It's scrap at the end of the day, and then yeah.
The thing is, people will listen to this and think that we're generally like scamming and bending over like old ladies, and that we're generally absolutely not. Like
No.
these are cars that would never sell a death trap to an old lady.
No, no.
Yeah.
This is
Again, you
banter.
don't need to either. That's the thing. Like you don't need to heavily negotiate. You don't need to try and sell them something that they don't know they're aware of. As I say, every video we do, we're taking the piss out of the car anyway, so people know what they're buying.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with what we're saying.
No.
We're having a bit of
Absolutely
banter
not.
about it. But
100%.
fact of the matter is, right,
Yeah.
I've been in business a long time. It's hard to sell to people from India.
Mm-hmm.
It's rock hard.
Yeah.
It's easier to sell to older people.
Yeah,
true.
It's just easier.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just the top bottom of it. Whether that offends somebody, whether
Yeah,
that makes me a
fucking
bad
will.
person.
It
want
is
it,
true.
really.
It's not racist. It's not stereotypical. It is true.
No.
I'll probably try and spin that of racism though.
Oh,
I'll probably
yeah, of
know the
course.
fucking.
Like, have you ever tried to make any profit off a Scottish person?
No, I've never. Have we actually had it?
They've been all right, to be fair.
Terrible.
South Africans are the best people that I've dealt with, specifically white, but white South Africans are unreal.
They've been in the sun too long, haven't they? Like they've lost it a bit.
But
South
they're the
Africans.
nicest people that I deal with, and every single one's wanted to pay full price every time.
A South African is like a shit Australian, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, very true.
That's
Yeah,
a valid point.
You can't. Sometimes you can't tell them apart. I can't.
they've got a bit of a gay accent, like.
Never even thought.
It
About
is probably the gayest accent,
Yeah.
isn't it? Who talked about this? What is the world's gayest accent? Is it South African? That is a bit gay, isn't it? It's a bit camp.
Probably some English accents, like.
There is some zesty English.
Do you know what? Who
accents
sound a
I'm
bit
trying to think
zesty? Sometimes the Scandinavians sound a bit like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Do like
thinking
taking
of
up the
Germans. You know, like
I'm mixed German.
no, they have a bit of a twang, like.
No, honestly, Germans sound like absolute mongs.
Oh, it's amazing,
Like,
awful.
literally just spit all over you, and that's from experience. So,
What's your favourite accent? Mine's
what in a lass or like
just
or
generally in the
general?
world. Mine's a Jamaican. Like, how can you not like that? I've never heard a
Nah,
Jamaican
nah,
voice
man.
that I've not like listening
Nah,
to.
man, nah.
Love a Bradford accent, like.
Bradford accent, like the typical, like just across the board Asian accent, is just mint. They all sound the same.
yeah.
Like it just sounds like they're all from Bradford, but they're not. It's interesting. Liverpool on a lass is mint. Like Liverpool's nice.
You like that?
Scottish or
I do
Irish?
like that.
You like that?
Yeah, yeah.
You know
How you
what
bit of Welsh? You know what I mean?
Nah, that's a bit weird.
Don't like it.
I think that on a man
Welsh
is a bit gay, to be fair, true.
A bit gay.
Yeah, I think that is a bit gay.
it's
Tom
quite
Jones a bit fruity, isn't he?
It is quite fruity.
Yeah.
Nah, it's Liverpool. I hate Newcastle though. Like, I hate Newcastle.
Rough in it.
Yeah, it's rough and toast. I like Bishop.
Yeah.
Andy at the pitch.
Yeah,
his
yeah.
voice is mint.
You know, some of the through like a little bit of research I've done, the best like in our country, the best people who make the best salespeople are people from the north of England. Like, you know, our region, like the northeast.
Oh.
Yeah, like in the world of telesales and stuff, it seems to work. I don't know what it is.
I think it is our kind of area and our sort of like how we're brought up. I think a lot of people when come down from south are like you're a lot nicer and stuff like that. But when you go down south, they're all pretty miserable though. Anyway,
Like if you get like someone from London that rings you up, what Matt, how you doing? You're thinking you're trying to rip me off. Do you know what I mean? Like it just smells like
I
rip
hate
me
that
off.
accent as well. I hate it.
Or an Essex flash cunt.
I just
Do you know
can't
what I mean?
stand that accent.
Awful. Like Birmingham, they sound like they're going to kill themselves. Don't they? Like Scottish, they sound pissed.
Trying to think of what the Birmingham accent is.
It just sounds like morbid and depressed, doesn't it?
yeah.
Do you know what I mean, mate? I don't want to buy your website.
Oh, Birmingham, yeah, Birmingham.
Horrible accent. Horrible.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Carlisle and that northwest, that I like that as well. I think it's sort of similar to this.
Carlisle's the exact same as us. Like,
Yeah,
I've noticed
yeah.
that. I used to say that to him. He's like, "Shut up, you dick!" Like miles away. It sounds exactly like someone from Darlow.
Do you think?
Yeah. I used to fresh out of school, like whilst I was saving, like, because basically when I was like with the lease options, whilst Chris was at Amazon, I was at EE, so I was saving like 1,500 quid a month to put in the property side of things, and like every time I used to speak to someone and they say from Carlisle, I think they were from Darlow, like generally, mental.
I mean, we're not miles away, are we?
Yeah, no,
Kind of like
Only about
they're just the opposite side.
But
Yeah.
say if you went like, I don't know, like an hour and a half, like Bradford way, York, somewhere else, East Yorkshire, it'd be completely different. But an hour and a half there is it's pretty similar.
Do you know, to be fair, accents, they're mental. Like, I live in Darlow, but if you go to Bishop, they sound like they're from a different country.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
but
you
But it's
literally-
round here So if you go half an hour from Darlow to like Richmond around here, it'll be different. If you go 20 minutes to Stockton Borough, it'll be different.
Oh, Stockton and Borough is bonkers as
Yeah.
well. It's a difference.
almost
in
Liverpudlian, isn't it? Like, Stockton and
weird how
Borough.
much of a difference
Yeah,
they are.
they've got a weird twang, like.
Yeah, we do live in a very, like, I bet in London, you go 20 minutes in any direction, they sound exactly the same.
Yeah.
But here, you go 20 minutes in a direction, you're literally getting like
It's
foreigners.
proper Northeast is proper inbred though, isn't it? Let's be real.
Oh,
Like, it
100%.
is so inbred. For like where we were in Coxall, wow,
Coxall.
wow. Is it? How do you pronounce it? Coxall or whatever? Because I used to say
I say Coxall. But then you've got like fucking places like Ferry Hill,
wow,
Horden,
For real.
Peterlee, and then you've got all the inbred places like Shotton Colliery. This,
Oh,
that,
mate,
that.
when you start going out to them
scary,
places,
aren't they?
the collieries, like your Fishburns and your Trinidad collieries, like,
Trinidad colliery.
oh.
It's proper eye opening.
Yeah.
Where the fuck was that, by the way? That where we went, it was near the seaside somewhere. Remember that place where it was just like no windows in sight?
Blackhall Colliery.
Wow, that scared me.
I've never heard of it. What's it called?
Wow.
Blackhall Colliery.
Blackhall
Colliery.
It's weird because there's people living there, and these people like it's weird because it's not like they're hard people. They're just living in a shithole, but
Yeah.
but you feel like you're gonna get stabbed. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's like the skid mark of society, isn't it? Like that's like the leftover of.
Yeah.
It's just the bottom of the
It doesn't
bottom.
make any sense why they live like that either, though, because it's like you can still have a clean house. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not
Yeah.
hard.
I once knew somebody from Easington. I think that's up that way.
Oh yeah, very
Colliery
close.
type
Yeah,
people.
yeah, Easington, Colliery.
Yeah, fucking
Have you ever been to Eldon, by the way?
I have, yeah.
Wow.
Rat
What did you
bastards.
go to Eldon for?
Drugs.
Drugs.
I think, yeah. Probably
Brave.
ganja. Or en route to get drugs. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, Eldon
before.
scares me. There was a few lease options that came up in Eldon, but
You must have had something somewhere called Close House before, have you?
close house. What
You
does
never
that
heard
mean?
of it? Close House is on the way to Bishop from
That does
Darlow.
ring a bell, though. That
It's called Close House because the houses are close together.
is that what it is?
Yeah, mate. Listen, I remember
So
seeing...
is it just like in the middle of Newton Aycliffe and there or something?
It's in between Newton Aycliffe and Bishop, yeah.
Yeah,
If
I
you go
think-
along that back road, you get to like a little turning that says Close House.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've ever seen somebody in a nappy riding a horse. Or maybe a pony.
What the-
I seen that with my own eyes. There was a baby riding a pony. You don't believe me, do you?
I
seen-
believe you because
I
generally
do
I've
believe you,
experienced these places.
Yeah,
As I say, Eldon Eldon didn't even make any sense because I obviously going slightly off topic, but like there was fucking like a private school at the top of Eldon. Do you know, like there's a private school, but then
private
Eldon's just a
school?
shithole. It's like is it equestrian or horse riding or whatever the fuck it is?
Oh, right.
Like, nice school. Like you could see all these posh like 4x4s and that pull up, and you just drive through the middle of Eldon. You just weed farm everywhere, and like the door's just on the floor in the middle of the street.
My man. You know what I
Makes
mean?
no sense.
You reckon you could sell anything? Do you reckon
Any
you've got a
car?
knack for selling?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Different products, different services. All right, let's bring some out. Right. All right, you're gonna sell clothes.
Mm-hmm.
You reckon you can flip them?
Yeah,
like getting
100%.
clothes from China, flipping them. Blah 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 blah. blah.
It's just basic principles at the end of the day. It's just working out what someone wants and then how you can apply that to the product.
All right. Let's have a look at this bit here. Anything about buying? Yeah, all right. Have you learned anything about buying and selling? You will have done. Have you learned things about buying and selling cars that you didn't know at the beginning? Is there any like lessons you've learned?
Fucking everything until now.
Tell us a
You
few
knew
things you've learned.
The thing is the way. That's number one. That's definitely the main thing, and that's what I want to drill into people because it is so true.
I think a lot of the after sales as well, because if I'd went to like, I don't know, a main franchise person or someone that sells like $5,000 cars, they'd say like anything happens, you got to serve the customer and take it back. But specifically with dingers, if we did that, like we won't make any money. So say if a customer came, be like, oh well, if an engine light or something else like that comes on, just let us know and then we'll take care of it. But we've learned that like at the end of the day, there's only so much that we can do selling these cars.
We make them fully aware. Just be, I mean, the main thing, just be bluntly honest with it, like in the sales process. Like, we're not forcing a sale. So we've learned just be honest. Like Bradford, you just get people turn the engine lights off. Everything, anything they can do, get 5 miles down the road, it's fucked. But like with us, you just have to be honest, so they know what they're buying, so you get no headaches. Yeah, because if not, you do get customers that are thinking they're buying some like G-Wagon for 700 quid. And you're just like, why are you here?
Yeah. Do you get a lot of business in Bradford?
Yeah.
Buying or selling?
Nah, buying. You won't really get sales from there, but
No.
but buying definitely, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because
All the time.
Can we get some more drinks, Help? Another drink?
yeah, of
Yeah,
course,
just
yeah.
quickly before that, do you think with you putting like your whole process online, do you think that's opening avenues for other people to then go and replicate? Or do you think because there's such a big market and so much stock out there, do you think there's no worry for
Is
competition?
that in terms of just flipping cheap cars?
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
literally, there's so much supply out there.
Yeah,
generally,
yeah.
yeah.
So you're not worried about people coming in and replicating what you guys are doing?
You know what it is? It's funny because that's a mint question, that, because I like with property, the network that I was building around me, there was a few people that were like property trainers and property gurus, like you've probably seen them. And like the people that I sort of nurtured relationships with and like document what you are doing, because not many, like who the fuck has heard lease option? And at the time I was doing, that would have been a gap to sort of blow really if we wanted to pursue that avenue with social media. And I was so scared exactly that. I was like, oh, what if people repeat my process? What if people repeat the process? And I was really scared of revealing that information. I'm not asked now because we don't do it anymore. But with cars, because the supply is bonkers, doesn't affect us at all. But with lease options, it's the needle in a haystack. Like it took a long time to find one. So
Yeah. It's for anyone to replicate what you're doing, like they've got to be doing more than just buying and selling cars, because like you say, the social media and the comedies become a big part of it, I think.
yeah, of course.
Do you know what I did think though the other day yesterday when I was watching them videos? I thought to myself, these videos you make, like of getting this car for X amount and you're going to sell it for this much and blah, blah, blah. Surely that isn't actually helping sell the car, is it?
The thing is, never really get sales from social media anyway, so not really.
And that's where people get it wrong. Where like people like this, it makes me laugh though, because when you observe, as I say, car dealers on social media, their end goal, they're hoping to sell the car through social media. Who buys the car through social media? I don't know. I don't know anyone that does, apart from like the big ones that sell to celebrities that are through the page. Do you know what I mean? Like Lambos. But apart from that, who realistically is buying a car because of what they're seeing on social media? From a 500 follower Instagram page, one of your followers is now going to buy a car from a picture that you've put on there saying it's four grand, 99. Do you know what I mean? No one's buying a car through social.
Because I was thinking to myself, obviously as things progress, right, news get more and more known, which is happening, like it's going to start getting to the point where people who will look at a car you've got will know that you're these social media people. And more often than not, they'll be able to go on your social media and know what you paid for that car.
Oh, it's happened before.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're saying, hang on, you silly bastards.
Yeah.
You're not selling me this for £1,000. You just got it for 400 quid. I'll give you 600 quid.
But yeah.
Like, surely that's going to actually play against you.
And then all it'd be, don't buy it then. Go find it for 600 quid. You have the headache. And that's the beauty as well, because look at our competition. They're either buying it from a private seller who like you could literally just drive down the road and now you've got nothing to go back on. At least there is some sort of thing. Like, I mean, if you buy the car and like in the same day, it's we're going to sort it for you. Obviously, we're not going to do you over. But with the private sale, like you are stuck with it. Do you know what I mean? So you are stuck there. And also, if you look at the traders, no disrespect because I'm foreigner myself, but you're going to buy it from a foreigner, like, and it's a sack of shit trader who doesn't give a fuck, who will just admittedly turn off every light possible and try to sell it to you. So would you rather buy it from two English people that are being very, very obvious with what you're buying, or buy it from someone dodgy? So choose.
Do you ever have, I think you did mention it, people coming down, like going mental, like customers bringing cars back, kicking off?
Very rarely though. I think a lot of people actually know what they're buying, but the thing is, it's sad though, the amount of people that
just retarded
in the bank, they'll have basically the amount that they need to buy the car with. So obviously, if it's like 90% of their bank account and something goes wrong, like they're obviously going to be annoyed. So
it comes down to like sort of overall morals though, because again, there's so many people in business that will, like, as soon as they get the sale, they couldn't give a shit. Like we're not like that at all. Like if we sell you a car and like on us we have screwed you over by accident, it's broke down on the way home, why on earth would we want to just then completely ruin the reputation and our just morals anyway and go against that just for like 500 quid? It's just pointless. It doesn't make any sense. But too many people are like that.
Yeah, I was thinking. Do you know what I'm going to talk about now? Like, I'm going to leave the cars. How long have we been rolling, Southpaw?
We're on 109, but just quickly to use two. So, obviously, the business thing is purely both owned by both of you. Like, do you ever get like think in the back of your mind, okay, so people just work 9 to 5. I'd imagine your hours that you are both putting in is crazy hours. Now, that might just be going to get a car from Bradford, driving it back. How many hours do you think per week you lads are putting in to get the reward of you know your financial gains, your social media gains?
This leads to so much, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, that again, another great question, but it leads to so much. And I generally have no clue how to answer that because I still got voice cracks. I'm 21. I mean, we work all the time. We work every day to answer the question. But like to live a lifestyle comfortable, the thing is, so many people. I don't even know how to answer this question. Because the end goal isn't just financial freedom for us. Because
of course,
you could, and what we say this all the time on social, you could have financial freedom. And we say this all the time. Like if we're ever like, oh fuck me, I'm sick of this. It'd be just like, right, you know what? We'll sell 2 cars a week and just sit on Xbox for the rest of the time. We could do that if we wanted to. Because if we're selling 2 cars a week, £500 profit each, sound. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in terms of the hours we're putting in, because we're trying to empire build, basically, is all the time, really.
Yeah.
I mean, find no joy out of going to the club. We don't go to the club. We don't drink.
So there's not like a set day off that you both have. It's just constant grafting, and then by the time you've got this empire, it might be time to settle down and.
But it won't be either. So we're building the empire for the sake of building the empire. We don't see this as we're working out, we'll grind because we're actually enjoying what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we've found something that we know it's just a long-term game now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like work to the
100%.
point where...
And you love it so much and you're earning so much money from it that it's like, okay, I'm just going to keep doing this. It's something I enjoy. So
exactly that.
No, fair play. It's absolute grafters.
What does the empire look like? Like, if like sky's the limit, in your mind, what does this look like? What does the end goal look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So with what we're the exact business model we're doing is literally just a matter of compounding time. That's it. Because at the end of the day, like I said before, with every car we sell, we're compounding the fleet. So we're just gonna literally £500 profit, for example, buy another dinger with that. So we've doubled every single time. And then same with social media. Every post, we're compounding our follower base. So it's just a matter of time, scale, compound. That's it. So the overall empire is Dingerland basically. So just grow, because naturally we need a massive pitch of land. So naturally it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And obviously a media company on the back of that from what we're compounding through social media and YouTube and all the other stuff.
Yeah. Do you make revenue through the social media posts?
In what way, like brands and stuff? Because we decline all.
You decline them, do you?
Yeah.
Right. So people have made offers to you before to
Yeah.
advertise it.
all the time.
Really?
And the thing is, anyone, even a relatively small one, like, it's surprising how much money you can make off social media. It's mental. But we decline it because we don't want to attach it. Because we look at this as the long-term game. I'm not interested. Like I said, I'm a shit negotiator because I'm not money motivated for stuff that it's pointless in that sense. If it's going to tarnish my brand even slightly, what's the point? So if we see it the long-term game, I'm not interested in promoting someone's fucking spanner for a car and stuff like that. It's not relevant to us.
That it impresses me and surprises me, because personally, I'm an absolute sellout. If somebody made me an offer to advertise their product, listen, I'll advertise your butt plugs, anything you want. Pay me.
I mean, if I've got a butt plug, I might whop out a few videos just for the crap.
Yeah, yeah.
I was going to say, can I go for a piss?
Yeah, mate, yeah. Yeah. We'll be right back. So I want to talk about this controversy, right? Is there anything you won't say?
No, honestly, like open books, just whop out anything you want to say.
Yeah, you literally there's no line you won't cross.
No.
Do you not think that's a little bit dangerous at points though? Because obviously mentioning the N-word, I can see that you've been on recently in rap videos with that community of lads.
Yeah.
Could they not just come at you and say?
That's the point. Like I generally have no idea how we could be deemed as racist, because as I say, like I'm white, German, Muslim. Chris is white from a full Christian family. How can there be any racism in our bones? And Sarah Banks is an absolute B-uer. So how could you say I'm racist? And like, the problem with society is because they're just jumping at conclusions. I think they just want to hate on like, oh, you just cancel him.
Yeah.
And when we were observing right now, fuck this, we're not just suppressing what we say. Any group you join, like whether it's an Xbox party or the boys on a night out, they'll say all this stuff. But when it comes to the internet, apparently you can't say it. It just doesn't make any sense. And it's not like I'm inflicting hate to a certain group. I'm just ripping into everyone I can.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of people say like certain things are bad, but at the end of the day, they're not really close with that type of like race that they're on about. I know lots of packies, and like I'll say it to them, and
they'll call us white boys,
they'll call me like a
vice
white cunt
versa.
or something.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm not really too bothered. But it's just people have never really had that interaction, and they don't really know like that it has no meaning to them. Obviously, if you say that to a black person, for some reason they get offended over it. But yeah, to a lot of Asians, they're not really arsed at the end of the day.
Yeah, but there's also a difference, because society's is bred this. They've put weight behind the word. That's what society's done. It's forced the weight behind the words. Because realistically, we were even saying this, like, where the fuck is the racism? I don't know. There was white slaves. We get called white boys. Where's the racism specifically towards black? It's just an agenda pushed. Like how LGBTQ, we need all this fucking inclusiveness. Why?
What does that mean? I don't even know what
Bullshit. Fucking ligma
LGBTQ.
gooch fucking tranny.
I don't even know what it
gays.
means.
It's bollocks. It generally is bollocks, because one of they're just sort of it's all a target emotion. Say, oh yeah, be sorry for them and stuff like that. But like at the end of the day, that like, you know,
if you're gay, why do you want to be like in a group where someone's chopped the dick off?
well, I don't know where you're going.
No,
with that,
but I'm saying no.
going.
But at the end of the day, I'm saying like they've put everyone in a group, so it's like it's so much more people together, and you feel like you're a part of something, and it's like.
And the suppressing. Have you ever watched Piers Morgan Uncensored?
Yeah.
Have you ever read through the comments? Everyone is defending logic, yet the people who are the most vocal and actually out there and on the media are the ones defending this absurd insanity of bullshit agendas that they're pushing. But everyone in the comments are just comments on the thousands as well. And you can see the normality and the sanity still there, but it's the agenda the media is pushing of all this bollocks. Hence why we're like, you know what, fuck it. Everyone else is scared to say on social, so we'll just say anything we want, really. Because we're not being... At the end of we rip the dole as well, the job centre. I've
seen this.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
there's loads of people in my family that are on the dole. It's not like I'd be just punching downwards just for the crack. They're on the dole, so I'm taking the piss out of them as well. So... Yeah.
What's the crack with it? You've been going to the job centres, right? Just winding them up.
It's belted. We've
it's just
just never
hilarious,
seen
isn't
it before. Like, who's actually been into a job centre?
Never seen it.
You need to get a real one, to be fair.
What's the one, Paul? Are you able to go
Oh,
on the
go back on that.
The one where the security guy
Yeah,
goes divvy.
security guards.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that one's on there. I fucking know what that one's
Is it this
called.
one?
Go down.
There's this video where I don't know what you're doing, but
No, that's all you got.
Oh, is it all?
How's it work on computer?
Hang
Like?
on.
Torturing job centre, this one.
Oh, it's a different one. Oh, was it?
Yeah. I've just tried signing up online and I just can't do anything and that's like I don't know, it's just mad, like I'm stupid on the computer or something. Yeah, I've made it clear and it's just still not come through yet. Chris Peacock.
I haven't seen that in ages, no way. That was a
Crispy
while back,
cock.
that one.
yeah, they're brilliant.
So boys,
Oh, which one's this? This is the Northallerton Job Centre,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Job centre. Come in, let's take a look. Yes, Mush, how's it going?
Yes, push.
How's it going? What's up?
No fist
No?
bumps.
Yeah, I was just wondering, how much do you get? Do you get more on the dole? More on the dole, no? Yeah, I just want to get on the dole, please. Is that okay? No worries, fist bump. There we go, guys. Northallerton Job
There's
Centre.
a fucking comical one where it was in Aycliffe, wasn't it? It was Aycliffe Town Centre. That was the best one.
Yeah,
Them ones were just quick clips because we fucked up the fucking the audio and everything went messed up. But yeah, as I say, that's not just like us being like demonising the thingy. Like my family, some
There
of them
we
are on
go.
the dole, and I outright say it. They are fucking dosses. So it is what it is. Do you know what I mean?
That one was hilarious. That one with that.
Oh, go down.
Go down. One more. That one there.
Who's this like?
There's always a delay on the audio.
What are you doing? If you don't stop recording, please leave. I'll have to phone the police.
Excuse me, is this a public place?
Can you please phone the police?
Can you get back, please? What are you doing?
Sit yourself down. If you don't stop recording, can you please turn off the...
Fucking brilliant, man.
If you don't stop recording, please leave.
Like, can I just ask as well? So obviously you've got parents, you've got family.
Yeah.
What do they think of all this?
Mine don't give a fuck because I'm very strongly opinionated. And
Yeah.
the thing is as well, you know what? I don't. My parents, I generally, they don't have a clue what we're doing in business at all. They have no idea. They don't know we've got pages. They don't know we've got anything. They didn't know how many properties I had. Because when I was getting into it at age 18, I'd always just get in arguments with my dad, telling him what I wanted to do, and he'd just tell me I'm wrong, tell me no, don't do that, or it's risky. I was like, fuck it, I won't tell anything, and I just do my own thing.
Never.
There's just too much negative energy, and just it's detrimental completely to your whole vibe, to everything that you do. So having them know what I'm doing, I'm just like, fuck it, you don't need to know.
For the most part, they probably, I'm sure the hearts are in the right place. Like, I've been told,
100%, and they always are. I'd never say that. I don't think any parent wants to put them
No.
down on purpose at all.
But so they don't always understand.
But it's just
do
their
they?
Don't have a
background.
clue.
It's all they know. Like, well, what's worked for them going to uni and getting a job out there. So
Like success leaves clues, and following their path clearly isn't going to put me in the right position, is it? If they're both on minimum wage, so I can't really listen to you, kind of like in all due respect.
With all due respect,
Yeah.
no. It's
So-
true. It is true, like.
Is that what yours think as well, Chris? What?
yeah, it's just they just don't agree with it. But I think over time they've kind of understood. Well, this is what he's doing, and we've kind of got to deal with it. And then I guess they're a lot more supportive now than they were back then.
Yeah.
You mentioned, and this wasn't something I was going to ask you about, but I want to ask you a little bit about this converting to Muslimism.
Yeah.
Like, are you
Muslimism.
What's it
I've heard
called?
that.
Is that not
is
the
that, is
word?
that even a thing?
You what?
Muslimism.
I don't
It's
even
Islam,
know.
isn't it? Yeah.
Is it? So it's not Muslimism?
No.
That's
No,
not a word.
Islam, yeah, Islam. But at
Islam.
the end of the day, all it means is just that like you submit to one God.
Submit
It's
to
not.
one
It's not
God.
really like Christianity, this, that, what are Jews like? They have like all these things. At the end of the day, Islam is just submitting to one God.
So where did that come from? How did you think?
Again, it ties into the socials and that, just because looking at the world, everything that's being pushed by the media, it's all so corrupted. And when we sort of looked into, because his parents are Christian, but mine aren't religious, so like I've never been brought up around religion anyway, so I never had the like ever inclination to look into it. But observing what was happening in the media and everything that's going on, I did look into Islam because nothing made sense. I was like, this is bonkers, it's beyond absurd. And then everything started to make sense, where like all of so many issues in society could be resolved through Islam, and that's what just straight away I just knew, and then just reverted.
Yeah, I'm now starting to think you aren't actually winding me
No,
up.
no,
You really have
the
converted.
thing is as well with Islam, like
You wouldn't take the piss.
you'd need some ginormous bollocks and live in like a shark defended prison to take the piss out of that. Is just, yeah.
Oh, you don't mess with that one.
No, you
No.
absolutely do not. No.
I was going to say, is there anything that you won't cross? Maybe that might be something
But
you
we've been
won't.
Muslims anyway, so it's not really like
yeah.
we'd be just taking the piss out of ourselves. But
It's
that's
a dangerous
religion
one, but I
that
think,
you'd never-
I think with other religions, I think, because I wanted to look into Christianity for a while, but I think how it's been, obviously we're from a Western country, and how Christianity's been portrayed. It's not the same if you go to Eastern places where orthodoxy is still very much alive, but as we're in this place, the way that Christianity's progressed in a liberal way through this society, it's put me off massively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck can you have like a gay priest?
And the morals are, it seems like seemingly non-existent to the masses, and that's what's
Yeah, I agree with that, to be honest. I don't know much about.
Honestly, if you're Christian, I would urge you to like look into it like massively. Like, just even read the Quran, just look into it.
It's a tough read, isn't it?
Oh, it's a hard read though. It is like even me, I'd consider myself a bookworm. I read all the time.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff in there, it's hard to get like to read. Do you struggle with reading it sometimes?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's as it came down from God. It's not really wrote like, but it's not similar to any other book that's
of
ever
course
been
it's not.
written before. So it's written in a certain way. But at the end of the day, I like it so much. It's so simple. So a lot of Christians will say to me, "Oh, it's so."
Is it the
boring."
morals are so
yeah.
simple?
Well, no,
Like
how
the
it's
religion itself?
well, no, it's how the book's wrote. It's very like all it is a lot of repetition. Like, don't do this, do this, don't do this. But at the end of the day, it is very simple to read, I think.
Depends because it's more like a manual. But I'm saying like to actually like read it and read it and read it. It just takes time. It does sink in though.
So have you both read it?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
reading
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
What, front to back?
Yeah.
No fucking way.
I don't start books and not finish them. Even if it's a shit book, I need to finish a book. I can't do it. I specifically cannot do it.
I've never read a book in my life.
Have you not?
Really?
No, I
You're
can't.
joking.
No, I can't read. I can read, but I'm poor. Do you know what I mean?
I read every single day, and you know what it is? I find my mind doesn't function if I don't read.
Really?
I find it doesn't function properly. Like same with journaling. I'll journal in the morning. I feel like if I don't journal, like my mind's clogged. And like same with reading, I feel like I start to way slower off the mark if I don't read in the morning.
But the thing is, going back about the Quran again, is I said that I've got a lot of questions about Christianity. But when as soon as I went to Islam, a lot of the questions I had about Christianity could be solved
Answered
by
in a
Islam
heartbeat with logic,
because
yeah.
it says about Jesus. Obviously, he's a prophet in Islam. But a lot of the questions I had about Jesus were very simply answered by obviously my Muslim mates.
But with Christianity, a lot of emotions involved with it. No disrespect to it, but like every single time you're trying to ask a question with Islam, either the mind is like God's all knowing, like the mind can't conceive it as of yet at the moment. But everything they can answer is always with logic. Anything that we've asked from a Christian is not logical; it's always emotion. And you can feel it mixed in, like with the response they give, or this is what I believe, or this is what I think. With all due respect, the religion's been with thousands of years. Why does it matter what your emotion is? I want the logic.
Yeah, well, it certainly seems as though, like, since you have found this religion,
Yeah.
you seem to be very, like, you have a lot of clarity about it.
Yeah,
Everything
definitely,
makes
yeah.
everything just clicked as soon as we found, like, generally everything clicked for
Like,
it.
literally just listening to what you two was saying there, I could see that you know something.
To be honest, and this is no offense to Christians. Obviously, some people will have a different opinion on it, but a lot of the Christians that I'll speak to, it'll say like confidently, they'll say, "Oh well, I'll have clarity on this," but you can kind of read the minds and tell subconsciously they won't have clarity on the religion, because even my dad, the main point about the Trinity, about man being God, Holy Spirit, and all of that, he doesn't quite understand that himself. So
Right.
I couldn't really comprehend following a religion where the main thing I can't understand.
I bet for the most part, 90%, probably more, percentage of people who are following a religion, certainly Christianity, take that one for example, 90% of them don't really know the full ins and outs of things.
Definitely not.
Yeah,
no.
no, definitely.
They're just following it because either it's what they think they should do or...
Well, I'll say a lot
I
of
think-
stuff. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
I was just going to say, I think the most dangerous is being brought up in a religion, because I feel like some people, not like naturally, I question everything. Like I'll ask why, just question everything. But too many people just take it as the status quo. And if you've been brought up in a religious household, thankfully Chris did ask why. But some people are following a religion they don't even naturally believe in. It's just been ingrained in them since they were young. And I think that's the most dangerous, because you're not truly following it because you know you should be following it. As revert Muslims, I say it with Islam as well, because I feel like people that have been brought up Muslim, it's hard to follow it because like you're seeing society doing all these things. Because Islam, it's a tough religion if like you see them all as rules and you don't want to live by that. But we reverted because of those, because we know that's safe society at the moment. So I think it'd be difficult being brought up in that religion.
It's very different as well. I'll ask a Christian why they're Christian, and they'll take about half an hour to answer the question. But if you ask me why I'm Muslim, I could answer it in a couple of minutes.
Why are you Muslim?
Well, everything that is wrong within the world at the moment, I think Islam solves it. But I don't think everything in the world at the moment Christianity solves on.
Okay.
And plus the fact, I think the main thing that separates Islam and Christianity
It's just the core belief.
But can you comprehend that God can be man? But I just can't comprehend that.
But at the end of the day, everyone spoke to can't themselves comprehend that.
Yeah.
They can't themselves comprehend that. I'd understand if it was just like, oh, shortcoming with Chris, he can't bend his mind around it, but the thing itself doesn't make logical sense. But the reason behind it is it then makes sense. Like there's a logical answer to it. It may not be like if someone says, oh, well, that's not right. Okay, but like there's a logical reason behind it. Does that make like?
It does make sense. Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like as somebody who I would call myself a Christian. Mm-hmm. I know the truth is, and I think I believe this for pretty much all religions. Like, I don't know much about others, but for the most part, from what I gather, most religions are kind of saying the same thing. They're just sort of saying it in like a slightly different way. Like, all religions, really, to me, are like a blueprint for life. They're like a blueprint of how you should live, really. Don't hurt people, be nice, do this, do like, it's pretty much like just a way that you should live. I don't believe that there's a fella in the sky with a beard, sat in the clouds with a robe on. I don't believe that at all. I also don't believe that nobody died and came back to life. And I'm Christian. I'm saying that I don't believe no one died because it's not it's not biologically possible.
So if you don't believe that, then how come you're Christian?
A way of living, I think. Now,
so then wouldn't that then point that Islam is a lot more logical to you?
He's never looked into it.
No, I get that.
I never looked into it.
Like now that we've said though.
And the reason, I suppose, somebody like me who wouldn't go into like, so you know, things are sort of where you're from. So like my upbringing, I wasn't from a religious family, but my nana and that would go to church like, I don't know, a few times a year.
Like Easter and stuff like that.
Yeah, so the only connection I had to any religion was Christian. Now, I knew I wasn't, growing up, I wasn't I wasn't religious, but I knew if I ever did, that's the way I'd lean, just because I felt I had to, because that was my, you know what I mean? Like, certain people's family vote Labour, and you vote Labour because your parents voted Labour. That, for me, it was just, that's it. The Islam thing, I admit, like, you think, as I've come of age at 16, 17, 18, Twin Towers and shit's happened.
Yeah.
Right? So as I'm this developing mind, I've had it instilled in me that this isn't just the wrong religion for you. These are the fucking enemy. Yeah. That's what I had instilled in me.
The thing is,
so it's been like, whoa, like that's the opposition. Do you know what I mean?
You know what's funny? Actually, you mentioned that. That's a side topic, but well, it's not. It's a leading on anyway. But the week of 9/11 wasn't the reversions to Islam in the thousands.
One of the most in history.
Because it forced people to not question the media. It forced them to just looking at the Quran and actually dig deeper. Because like they were portrayed as the enemy. Like Islam was the problem. And that week, the amount of thousands that reverted to Islam is bonkers. Because as soon as I looked into it, they saw this is the answer.
Of course, now being older and sort of taking in everything that's happening, look, I knew that wasn't Islam attacking us. That isn't actually what it was. The media, you know, we've learned a lot in especially the last few years, about how the media, you know, propagandas or whatever, and spin us narratives. Yeah. And just basically blags us all. Yeah, basically 3/4 of the world are all programmed to think anyone who wears a turban or, you know, from the Middle East, you've got to kill them.
Bonkers, isn't it?
The reason why that is very evident as the world is run by Jews. A lot of the things in Islam that are haram are a lot of the ways that Jews make a lot of money. So obviously, if the world would convert to Islam, it'd be very detrimental to them. Because obviously, like, interest is haram, drugs are haram, alcohol is haram, gambling's haram.
What's haram?
It's forbidden.
Right. So haram means you can't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So obviously, if you look at a lot of people in this country, if they can't afford to pay the house anymore because someone's making a lot of money off their interest, to get the house taken away.
And also, like the way I just see it, it's a very, very simple concept: is the devil is deception. What is it like? The devil is deception, and what are we living in right now? Just a whole of just concoction of bullshit that they're pushing out and just trying to control everyone.
Oh, mate, listen, I am definitely not one of the world's greatest thinkers, but it's fucked.
Yeah, it is fucked.
Yeah.
And it's
Like,
all
it's-
the agenda, though, isn't it? It's a simple it's obvious why it's fucked. It's because they're doing it intentionally.
When you actually take a step back and look at things from the pronouns and the Sam Smiths to the you can't
doesn't
say
make any
gay, you
sense.
can't say packy, you can't say, and then the bullshit we're getting told from politicians, the COVID bollocks, this, like you're actually at a point where you don't know which way you don't know what to look at. Like you just like what is real? There's nothing real anymore.
Yeah.
everything's just bullshit.
It is all bullshit, and there's only one way out, unfortunately. And I just pray that everyone actually does look into it at some point, because I just know for a fact, and like the problem in life as well, too many people are closed-minded to everything. Like if there was a logical reason why being gay is a good thing, I'd be open-minded to that debate. I'd be open-minded. I've got no fixed agendas. If Islam wasn't the right thing and there was something else right, I'm open-minded to it. But I know it's right because it is right. And if I approach it every debate, I've got no fixed agendas to anything. What am I going to defend? There's no reason to defend.
No.
It's like with business. If I approach someone with way more experience than me and tell me a certain way of doing something, I'm not going to be very, very fixed minded saying, no, this is how I do it. I'd take their knowledge, you know what I mean? I'd be very, very open to if there's got something of value that I can implement to what I'm doing. But too many people are just like, no.
Yeah, I think most people are guilty of that. To be honest,
Yeah.
I think most people are close-minded. I mean,
Well, that's the
personally, I
problem.
am. You know,
it's the problem is ignorance isn't ignorance. It's ignorance isn't bliss. It's ignorance, and like the problem is there's so many people are just ignorant to the reality of it, and it's a shame.
it is a shame. What you feel the whole world should be converted to Islam?
Definitely.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
without a shadow of a
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like if we're all serious though, but like I've got again, like if people drink alcohol, that's fine. It's got no relevance to me. Like God, like do you know what I mean? It's not my position to say don't drink alcohol.
No.
But if we imagine a world without alcohol, that's only going to be a better place, is it not? Because all of the
Yes.
sin, yeah, exactly. But people are just using alcohol as a coping mechanism. That's all it is. That's at the end. That's all drugs are. It's just a coping mechanism. If you get high and experience life in so much better way on drugs, all it is a coping mechanism.
Have you never drank or drugs or nothing like that?
I've never took anything.
Obviously, at certain points in my life, but now that I've turned Muslim, it's not something that I do.
I've never took anything. I drank like when I was 18. Like I've drank on like 2 occasions. Never drank again. So
Didn't like how it made you feel.
I'd rather be in control of my own mind, and I just always felt I didn't need it to enjoy the moment. But it's true because we have debates anytime we're driving somewhere, like all the time. Just debate. There's nothing else to talk about really. Business or debating life topics really.
Right.
People look at our stuff and think, no, you fucking don't, but we do. Absolutely do. And I mentioned like imagine the outrage and uproar. There would be a revolution if we said right, you know what, ban alcohol.
Well, they tried it, didn't they? Once in the 1920s or 30s,
Yeah.
Prohibition. Didn't things get like loads worse?
Yeah.
Isn't that what happened in America?
Because people are just trying. Yeah, because wasn't it something to do with the mafia? They were all trying to like export all that bullshit.
Yeah, it was all like a knock-on
Yeah,
effect.
because people are just like they need it as a coping mechanism to get through life. Unfortunately,
Yeah. I mean, we'll never have a world with no alcohol, will we? You know, there's too much money in it. Let's be honest.
yeah, exactly that. Haram.
I was going to say, is a signal round here or not?
No.
No, not unless you connect to the Wi-Fi. What do you need your phone for?
Oh, it's because an African's coming.
Yeah,
coming for
it
the car.
just need it 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Yeah. It's like 5
Can we
minutes
get the
away.
Wi-Fi code for these lads?
Yep.
Can you do the sharey thing?
I don't need it. Don't worry.
Sorry about that. It's just fucking.
Sure, have you got? Sure, can I go for pick? Sure, have you got
Keep on breaking it
service?
up. I do apologise.
Who's the African lad?
Some Donny that
buying a car
yeah,
from
buying a
just
car.
getting it like delivered. So and then it's like at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, if you go on the Wi-Fi and go to Venus, and then I'll.
Yeah.
Can't you do that sharey thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Right, I've got it on now.
Yeah, I'm not technically minded. I don't know how it works.
But yeah, there's like the way I like because it always baffled me because I always used to ask my parents. I was like, so like if I gave you a non-alcoholic wine and said it tastes the exact same, by the way, like if this tastes the exact same to the alcoholic one, would you drink the non-alcoholic? They say, nah, it's no point. So I'm like, why are you drinking it in the first place? Like, I enjoy it. I was like, so you enjoy the taste of it? Or, yeah, I enjoy the taste of it. So why wouldn't you drink the non-alcoholic? Oh, there's no point. It literally is just a coping mechanism.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
all it is.
release for people. It's a release.
But yeah, I do believe if if the world lived by the Quran, I know it sounds a bit selfish, but if the world did live by the Quran, I do believe that it would be a much better world. So that's why when people say, oh, when I go to Dubai or when I go to Saudi, like there's no crime and it feels a lot safer, and that's why a lot of people like have started to move.
But could you not say that about another religion? Could you not say if the whole world was...
If for example, if it hasn't been innovated in terms of like the way in which they're living now, if you follow like what are you even following in Christianity anymore? Like the morals of like a Christian, if you found them, so I don't know what they're following. Do you know what I mean?
But if you do go to an orthodoxy country, Christian country,
it's a very different story,
say Albania, some parts of Greece, Macedonia, some place like that, then you would get there. But I'm just saying in general, the West used to be a Christian place, but how it's fell through in society now and how Islam's taken over, I think is very evident which is the right one.
I mean, look, just to go say what I was saying again, I believe that if the whole world was just one religion, it's going to be nicer than it is now, and everybody stuck to the rules. You take Buddhism, Christian, I don't know much about Judaism, but if the whole world just was, everyone was exactly the same, and they all lived by that book that they particularly like listen to, then, because none of these religions are saying do bad things.
Yeah, none.
Like,
but they portray it as if Islam are. They always bring up the point, or kill any disbeliever, which pisses me off because
do they say that?
Always, yeah. So in the Quran it does say kill, but it was in reference to war. So if you're in a war, you're obviously going to kill the enemy. Do you know what I mean? But people always bring that up about Islam. Yet Judaism say the exact same thing. Who's pushing the media? It's obviously the Jews. Do you know what I mean? So pretty much. Christianity will say at some point, same, kill any disbeliever. It's the same thing. Kill the best of Gentiles. What Judaism says. So they all say the same, like certain shit like that. Yet it's always Islam picked out.
But then there's a lot of the same in Christianity that just Christians don't know about themselves. So it says that if a woman has sex without being married, then like all the men within the community should go up to her house and then just stone her to death.
That's Christianity. But if you said that in Islam. Ooh.
There was a man that did that. There was a man that went down to, I think it was Piccadilly in London, and he put a Bible inside a Quran, and then he started telling people this is what's obviously inside the Quran, and then he took the Quran away, and literally every single one was so surprised.
Mental, yeah. So they just and someone said, one of our brothers actually said it. I was like, wow, that is a valid point. If any other religion got attacked as much as Islam, they'd be broken, they'd crumble, they'd be non-existent. But Islam's attacking all the time, yet it's the fastest growing religion in the world. That in itself says something. It's quite scary. It does all add up. Like, yeah, it's a valid point.
Yeah, I will admit, you don't hear of people converting to any other religion except Muslimism. I'm going to call it.
But it's very hard to in Judaism. To be fair, you've got to go through all these steps to do it.
What, to be a Jew?
Yeah, you've got to pay the rabbi. You've got to learn a lot about the Torah, and you've got to do certain other bits and be a lot more close in the community just to become Jew.
Which doesn't even make any sense.
No. You lads seem pretty clued up about religions and stuff. You've obviously done your reading.
You know what it is like? Because as I say, I was like, when I first saw business, the overall goal and the missions change the more and more we get into business. The further and further we've been in, the longer we've been in, the overall missions change. Because initially when I first got into business, it was like, I need to be as productive and efficient as possible so we can just make money. And then the more and more you just get involved with it, it's like, the main purpose of this life is obviously, this life is a test, so religion's a huge part of that. And obviously, as I say, observing the corruption, it just only forced me to take action and looking at religion even quicker, because it is so important. People will prioritise other things, like other parts in their life, say they haven't got time to dedicate to it, but I really do. Like, this is the only reason we're here. Like, we're not here... We have been created. There is a religion, and I feel sorry for any atheists because obviously there is a creator. We haven't been put on this earth for nothing.
You know what my thing is, though? All these books, my belief, they were all wrote by a man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe any of these books was wrote by a god.
But that's what Islam believes. So that it was wrote by God.
Really?
So how it works with Islam is that obviously Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, went to a cave one time, and he was illiterate himself, and there was an angel said, "Oh, write this down." He said, "I can't write. Write this down. I can't write." And then on the third time, he said, "I can't write." And then he said, "Well, speak about it." And then he started literally speaking words that he were unfathomable at the time. And then after his death, there was a scribe that said, "Write this down." And then tons of other people, well, there was a few other people at the time that learned what he said off by heart, and then it was wrote down. But there was so many things that were like, as I said, unfathomable at the time. So he said, this was like, what was it, 1400 years ago. He said things like, the sea at 2 parts can't be mixed, which is what happens if you have salt water and then seawater. Well, salt water and fresh water, it doesn't mix. He said that the moon is just an illusion, so it's not actually like a light itself. And then so many other chemical, like, well, scientific.
Wouldn't even make any sense for it. It wouldn't even. How would you even comprehend that in the mind? Like, how would they do that? Even 200 years ago, where are you getting the information to like say that as fact and be proven right?
So that's why we believe it is the word from God. But the thing is, that's why I think Christianity is flawed. That it's wrote by 4 people, well, 5 people, well, a few more authors that we don't even know who they are. Like, we don't know the names of them. And then at a certain point, it was a meeting with all these bishops that said, well, this is going to be what the Bible said. And if you ask any Christian, it's not the word of God, and it's the inspired word of God. And I'd say, well, how do they know what should actually be in the Bible? And I'd just say, well, God's told me to.
Yeah. But isn't that just the same thing as what you said about Islam? Because God told him that.
I think that's true, but at the end of the day, he, as I said, the thing that confirms it to me is that he's saying so many things that, like, it's unfathomable. I don't see how someone 1400 years ago could come up with some of them scientific miracles.
There's so many things as well. Like minor and major science, they scare the life out of me.
Yeah.
Like, do you believe in the day of judgment? Like, there will be a final day, etc.
Yeah, but I probably don't think it's the way you think it is. I think it's when nuclear war happens.
Oh, no.
That's what I think is going to happen. Or a meteor hits us. I think it's it's either the meteor hits us and we can't do nothing about it, or someone presses the red button. I think that's
Who's
the
pressing
world.
the red button? That's the question.
Probably the Americans.
Biden.
Us, probably us. We'll start it.
Minds.
Yeah.
You got instructed to
So
do
tell us about this. What's this?
Yeah,
then?
no, the major amount of signs, it is really, really scary. Like, basically, is it in the hadiths in terms of the minor and greater signs?
It's in the Quran, isn't it?
I can't recall.
It's either
I can't
one of
recall
them.
exactly where they're from, but all these signs, and in terms of once these signs are occurring, that's the sign of the day of judgment. Like, the day of judgment is upon us. And yeah, the stuff that it says is like really scary. Again, how long ago this would have been done, and like, it's like men will turn to women and women will turn to men. If you were saying that 1400 years ago, how does that even make sense? Look at even 20 years ago, that wouldn't have even made sense to us. Like, transgenderism was seen as bonkers 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Absolutely bonkers. So imagine that when it was first said. No one have a clue. What
There's
the
no
fuck are you
such
going on?
thing.
What you monk?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like, even now, even just that thing gives me goosebumps, and there's so many others that have been prophesied that are
It'd be
obviously
like
occurring.
two shepherds in the desert will compete in building the biggest towers. Now, towers weren't even a thing at that point. And then look at what's happening in Dubai, Qatar, Saudi, and all these places.
And there's so many different things that are coming. It does give you goosebumps. And as I say, there's more that's been prophesied, but it's like uncomprehendable to the mind. Like, at the moment, like, if you said that to me, I wouldn't have a clue what you're going on about. But again, we as humans, we wouldn't know that yet until it happens, and then it's proven right again. It is scary.
I'm not sure whether you could apply that sort of way of thinking to most religions, though. I mean, and it's not really the same as such, but
The thing is, the signs of day and judgment. I know there's ones inside Islam that are uncomprehendable at the moment. But the thing is, with Christianity, there's things like none of them, like, we don't really know, like, are happening at the moment, and they're so, like, baffling. So obviously they potentially might happen, but nothing like that at the moment. But I said, within Islam, some of the minor signs have already happened.
There's loads of them being proven right already. I remember first coming across the list, and I generally like shit myself. I was like, what?
what stuff that's been said in that book.
Generally, I got generally scared reading it because I was like, this is scary.
But the men changing to women thing, like, that isn't actually what's happened. Like, men are always men. Whether they put a dress on, get the willy cut off, whatever, they still have that same chromosome as a male. You can't change your chromosome.
Of course.
So you can't. So men haven't changed to women, and women haven't changed to men. They've started dressing like them and really, really putting the graft in to do that. But
we're getting vaginas, aren't they? Getting fucking whatever the fucking.
still a man though.
Bonkers.
Still test the blood. It's still a man, whichever way you look at it. You know.
I think a lot of them, it's as I say, they are straightforward, but a lot of it is sort of. I think that I can't remember the exact same word, so I don't want to quote it. But it was like basically they'll have musical blocks around their head, and then music wasn't really around at this time, but it was like a baffling thing that could even happen. And then that's obviously what like headphones are now.
Yeah, You know what? I'm good. We could sit here, right, and we could talk about religion all day.
All day.
And I'm not. I think we're going to move on from it. Do you know what? Because we might be rubbing people up the wrong way. Do you know what I mean?
Does that sort of shit run? Again, if people attack that, I wouldn't get rubbed the wrong way.
I think religion does.
I don't know why though. That's what I'm saying. I don't think any of it should. I really don't think it should.
No,
I
it
think
shouldn't.
You can have a civilized debate about it.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
don't think
do.
it. I think it does rub people up the wrong way.
Yeah.
I am completely atheist. I don't believe in any god. Yeah. And I live a pretty nice life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm very happy for my life. I do think there are definitely values to religion. I think the way I see it is living by these rules is routine's good for anyone. Routines, but that's how I transfer it. The only thing that I do disregard, the only thing that does wind me up, is people pushing religion upon other people.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
That is something that's like. No,
when you get like Jehovah's Witnesses,
yeah,
and
it's
stuff
like absolutely follow your own religion. I have nothing against that, but people that then go and attack others or then try and put their own upon you, I think that is definitely something that can people.
I think it's completely wrong because at the end of the day, just because I'm for it doesn't mean I've got any right to push that on. It's God. God will show you the light. So
absolutely, and one day I might find my God. And it's different for everyone else.
I just wanted to ask this because it's always interesting. An atheist, these two questions. So the first one is, what do you believe happens after this life then?
Nothing.
And then the second one is, do you not believe in like purpose or anything then?
Yeah, I have a purpose in this world. Yeah.
And where do you think that came from?
From my family. My direction has been media. I've got a lot of like previous generations who've worked in the BBC and stuff like that. So I've found from a young age that my purpose to complete it, I'd love to try and be that. You talk about the car business, it's generational. For me, as a youngster, I was like, God, if I can make it half as good as my dad has, that's my purpose complete in this world. I'll be happy. Now that might be naive to you guys.
No.
But
For
me, that's like that's as far as a purpose goes for me. If I can have a wife.
The same question to you though. Like, so what would your answer be to that question?
This life's a test. It just doesn't make any sense. But like again, respect completely everything. Respect exactly like what you're saying as well. But it just doesn't make any sense. Because before I came into religion, I was like, shoot, is this a simulation? I just didn't understand. It's like, why have I been put on this earth? Just go to work, make money, and then like die? It just doesn't add up to my. Like, it just makes no sense. And then obviously digging in, you sort of, this can't be it. It just doesn't make any sense. We're put here to drinks, whatever, just a bit of hedonism, just enjoy the moment, and then die. Just that.
We're just here to recreate, aren't we?
But what recreate for what? What was the whole recreation for? Where the fuck has it come from? It baffles your mind, and the more you dig deep, because we used to like it was like them late night conversations driving home from a car. We used to think before we were religious, we're like, nah. What? So if we just died right now, we'd never know what happens now. Nothing, and that in itself doesn't even make any sense.
I think I know this comes in a bit mental, but like obviously I believe in Islam, but I think the only other solution that we're possibly here is for a simulation.
A simulation of what?
Exactly, but like, it just doesn't. In itself, though, do you know what I mean? Like us having this podcast right now. Well, we just put here to have a podcast, like go home, eat a bit of food, go to bed, wake up again, do it all again. It's just that in itself is a mind-boggling idea, and I think that the deeper the rabbit hole goes, it's scary.
Oh yeah, I mean, just that in itself. When you start sitting thinking, what we're here for, what's the plan?
But you need to dig deeper, though. That's the thing, though, isn't it?
You know what? That thing you said, ignorance is bliss. In the end, it just gets to the point where, like, regardless of whether I figure out that or not, I'm going to be alive for X amount of years. I have the chance to do this, this, and this, and probably need to recreate. Like, for me, like, I don't need to know the answer. I don't need to know the secret sauce. You know what I mean? I don't need to figure out the Rubik's Cube as to what our purpose is. And I respect those that do. I suppose those are the world's great thinkers. You two lads, listen to you two evidently highly intelligent. Like, you are highly intelligent. Some of the shit you're saying is going over my head. Honestly, some of the stuff you're saying is like...
really respect it.
Yeah, you're a uber brainy, like. So, massive respect for that, but
it's interesting speaking to someone like yourself though. Like, we don't really have these conversations a lot because a lot of people are are closed-minded. So as yourself, you Christian, I really like to speak to as many Christians as I can to see their
And
points.
atheists, the same thing
And
as well,
atheists,
just
exactly
getting
the
different
same.
points of view.
But a lot of the Christians are closed-minded, so I can't really have these conversations with a lot of them. No.
I just think, like, just as a final word in it for me, like, no religion is right, no religion is wrong. All religions are right. That's what I mean. All religions are right. It's just different, different gang you want to be in.
Yeah.
Just like it's like picking a football team. Same as, it's like the Premier League. Do you support Arsenal? Do you support, who do you support?
And at the end of the day, if you belong to religion and you follow it, most likely you're going to become a better person. So if you're a Buddhist,
Yeah, regardless,
if you're a
yeah.
Buddhist, you're a Sikh, a Christian, Muslim, Jew. If you follow that bit, then most likely you're.
But same an atheist can too.
Yeah.
As I say, like, I wouldn't ever say because atheist is when they just do not believe, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So for like up until 20 years, I didn't believe anything, but it wasn't like I was saying there was no God because I'd never looked into it. So I was always like, I've never looked into it, so I haven't got a comment. So yeah, it's the same thing. I was still living morally. Anyone could live morally, whether you believe in God or not.
Because you probably get
depends on
atheists that probably live. I bet you out there there's an atheist, right? That pretty much, apart from saying I'm in Islam, lives the same life and
Yeah.
has the
Oh,
same
yeah,
life.
definitely, yeah.
Does this, does that, so exactly the same.
As we were saying before, we reverted. Literally, the only things differently that we didn't do.
You're saying I believe. That's the
well,
only
you're saying
difference.
I believe in praying. Like
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the end of the day, no drugs, no alcohol, stuff like this.
So if Southpaw, for example, let's just say he is that example where
Yeah.
he is living like he is in Islam.
Yeah.
The only difference is between him and an absolute devout Muslim is that he doesn't pray
Yeah.
and he doesn't actually believe in anything higher. Does that make him worse than him? Does that make this
Well,
person a bad person?
In Islam, I know it does sound
In this
brutal.
world, no. In this world, absolutely not. It's just that if the thing is, again, it's like if we'd have this debate even a year and a half ago with me, I'd be exactly in the same position as yourself. I'd just be like, well, because at the time I didn't dig any further deeper. It hadn't come at me at the right time. I think it does come at the right time. Like if it comes to yourself and God does like bless you, that is the way in which it happens. But sometimes the mind's just not ready to conceive at the moment, and I think that's how it is. But like when you're saying is that better than the other in this life, absolutely not. So how could I judge you just because at the moment you're? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you feel the same about that, or do you think it's? Do you have a stronger opinion?
Yeah, at the end of the day, like, we can't judge. So, even if the Quran tells us this, like, at the end of the day, we can't judge. So, if we see an atheist, like, at the end of the day, like, we can't say you're wrong. But just literally by going by it, yeah, if they don't pray and they don't take shahada, then
Just judge them by the book, obviously. Like
but then they're not going to heaven.
Not
That's
go
just
to
what
heaven.
we believe.
Yeah.
But it's the same with a Christian. Like, my mum will technically believe that I'll go to hell just
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm not because I'm
obviously.
not Christian.
Right.
So in the same household, they'll think their son is going to go to hell. Cause
How does that go down? Like, if you're living with your mum and dad, right?
Yeah.
And you're a proper devout Muslim now.
Oh, I can't pray.
Right.
So obviously I've got to respect them. But the thing is, when I came out,
Do you play like the Muslim bangers in the house and stuff, like the music?
sorry,
Like the Muslim music?
No, I can't do any of that. Just can't pray at all.
How Christian are they? Like really Christian?
Yeah.
Like turbo Christian? Church every Sunday, proper believe it?
Yeah.
Huh. That's mad that you've taken that, like made that decision.
Yeah, it was hard at first, but I appreciate how.
You know,
Oh,
like,
it's only
you're a proper like example.
I've got one, so sorry, really do apologize.
He's a proper example. He's a proper example of someone who needs to move out.
Honestly,
do you know what I mean? No, listen, we're going to wrap it up.
of course.
Towards the end now. Anyway, was that a customer?
Yeah, it will be.
You know what? I was going to ask you about your Spotify song because you're also a rapper. You know, I've seen that. We won't play it, but how did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, we're just a music people that are sort of like, because we know rappers and stuff like that, and I think we just wanted to express what we believe in
Yeah.
music as well. That's the only reason it came about, really.
You know what, right? As a final note on this, everything I've had the pleasure to learn about you over the past 24 hours, right? Your controversy, I've heard you batter COVID, I've heard you batter trans, I've heard you say the N-word, I've heard you talk about pronouns, gays, I've heard you talk about politics in your rap song and stuff like this. And do you know what, right? When I actually sit back and I thought about it on the way up here, and I thought, you know what? Yous are actually spreading the right message. That's what I actually thought. And people might say, well, how would you work that out? It's all nasty. No, it's not. It's telling people that it's stop being so serious about stuff. Like, just chill out.
Yeah.
Like the message is number one, you're right. Like, politics are fucked. Like, we shouldn't be using these silly pronoun things.
Yeah.
Like, what is LBGTQ or whatever it's called? Like, just like, can we just all just get along?
Bonkers, isn't it? And as I say, like everything I'm attacking is all in my family anyway. Like my auntie is literally a lesbian as well. We've got another gay in the family as well. So I'm like attacking this because I know it's everything I'm saying is right, and it's just like bonkers. But people will just attack it and say it's just like evil. Anything like Chris's family don't appreciate it. Obviously, just because we use curse word as dedicated Christian, we can't swear and stuff. But yeah, it is what it is, really.
Yeah, no, I do. I think through your bants and the things you're saying, I think you're genuinely like spreading some truths, like you know. I'll have to agree to disagree on the Islam stuff.
Yeah, of course. And the thing is, with religion, there's always going to be that anyway. Always, if there's any religion across the board, there's always going to be.
One thing we can be sure, right, is we don't need to be fighting with each other.
Absolutely not. I disagree. I don't understand where that's coming from either.
And you know what the other thing is? Pretty much every war has been around some kind of belief or religion. Pretty much.
Well, it's fighting for beliefs, isn't it? And it just doesn't. I don't understand why we can't just sit and debate what we all believe in without sort of
like we can't all just have a cup of tea. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, look what we've done here. A debate is like educated me
exactly.
more than I ever thought I would be on Islam.
We don't want to go to war. It's just
fucking shoot us all.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and it's great.
Just have a cup of tea and chill out, innit?
If you can't have a conversation like this and debate about religion, you know, you're never going to learn. I'm never going to look further into these things. So no, I appreciate it, and I think it's very honourable of lads your age to be able to spread that message of just let's just talk about it instead of just hiding away from it, because people shy away from a few things. Money's one of them, you know, all these other LGBTQ things, and the third one being religion, really.
I think so many problems would be solved in the world as well if people just spoke about what they actually believe in as well, and just, but in a level-headed way, open-minded, but spoke what they actually believed in. Because a lot of resentment's also brewing as well, I've noticed, in society, because a lot of people don't agree with it, but they're still not saying anything about it, and I think that's just making matters even worse.
Yeah. I think it's interesting as well, because you two are getting a little bit more traction online and stuff, and you are doing really well. I think people probably look down upon you, you know, in a way, and also just think like, fuck them, because you're doing well and you're doing something different. So no, I think hats off to you. Some lads from Darlow are doing something completely different, you know, like bettering yourselves in every other way. Hats off to you. It's fair play, lads.
Yeah, same. I'm second that. Like,
Appreciate it.
You two are awesome. You're doing some bits like really intelligent. I didn't know that about your videos. Do you know what I mean? Like, all I just see is messing about. Do you know what I mean? But now I've spoke to you today, like, there's a lot more than just the banter. Like, you're highly intelligent, you've got good business acumen, you're proper refreshing, and you know what? For the most part, you're saying shit that really people should be saying. Do you know, like, people need to stop being such fannies and just have a joke about the word packy and retarded and shit like that. It's just a word, just banter. Do you know what I mean? There's no hate.
Exactly.
We're going to wrap it up, right? But before we do, how do people, like we normally do like a little plug, right? So like, how do people come and like buy a car of you or sell you their car?
We don't plug anything really. We're not interested in that sort of shit. Yeah, I know a lot of people like plug and stuff, but we're not here for that. We're just interested in a good conversation, really.
Well, these have been a good conversation. What's your YouTube and TikToks and stuff? Because
Chris and Ben.
So you just say it's Chris and Ben on any of the platforms that
If you want to give us a message, we're always help you.
Talk to anyone.
At the very least, even if you're not plugging your business shit like that, at the very least, I urge anybody to watch your YouTube, your TikTok, any stuff you're doing, because lads, you're a proper refreshing and you're hilarious.
Appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it. What a legend.
It's been bang on speaking to yous. Keep doing what you're doing. You're bringing everyone a lot of pleasure. And that's the end of that. Thank you for coming.
Appreciate it.